plate. Here, along with John Price on the field, Gavin Potter recovers the short kickoff, and just like that, the Bucks are in business. Tommy, good to be back. We'll talk about it in a moment. Mike Oriole backs in the eye. Handout goes to the up back, who carrying it for no yardage is Phil DiGiacomo. Tom, it's good to be back with you. John, good to be back with you too on Comcast as we're back doing Mighty Bucks football.
Hey, welcome back. Looking forward to an exciting season of football. West opening kickoff, trying to avoid Jamar Winningham having a big run back, so they pooch it. It works in their favor. Redskin unable to handle the ball, and Gavin Potter falls on it. West first and 10 to start in Redskin territory. First play we see there, DiGiacomo for a loss.
Bucks, of course.
He was tackled on a play by number 36. That was Chuck Coach. Made a nice play. Second 11 for West.
Backs are split. Deep hand up. No, it's going to be a pass. Over to DiGiacomo. Wide open to the 25, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Mighty Bucks. And just like that, CB West on the scoreboard, and a great play-action pass by Mike Oriole to DiGiacomo, wide open on the left side. Welcome back, everybody. The Mike Carey era is starting beautifully with several wins in a row, doing a great job. And Tommy, that was a perfectly executed play.
Yeah, just a soft rollout. Oriole's going to get his shoulder square, dumps it off to DiGiacomo flat, and he outruns everybody down the sideline for a touchdown. West End to try the extra point.
Gross will go for the extra point out of DiGiacomo's hold. Low snap. Gross gets it. Nice job by DiGiacomo. Score goes 7-0. We are only 57 seconds into the game as the Bucks take a 7-0 lead just like that. See some of the crowd here. Take a look at the scoreboard. The Comcast scoreboard. First quarter, 7-0. Tommy, I tell you, it's just been business as usual for the Bucks. They just keep on rolling along. You thought maybe they would struggle a little bit this year. No way. They've just been strong. The leadership of Oriole, DiGiacomo, Mr. Excitement himself, of course, Dave Camburn. Now let's go down to the field. We have John Price down there. John, you there?
Obviously, things started in a bang. What we can expect from West tonight, I talked to Coach Carey. Look for Neshaminy to stack the box. Look for West to attack the outside. We've already seen that. On the flip side, Neshaminy likes to run a play called the stretch. Looks like Brittingham's going to run right off tackle, and then it's designed for him to bounce outside. So keep your eye on that. We'll see how well it contains them on that play. Also for Neshaminy, this is a young quarterback. Has only started one game before. He had a nice game, but this is a completely different experience. Back to you guys.
Thanks, John. Good comments, and Gross will kick the high short one again. They'll call for the fair catch, and again it falls, and again the Bucks have the ball. We talked about Mr. Excitement. There's Dave Camburn on the ball.
Big run luck. CB West is trying to keep the ball away from Jamar Winningham. Their big play back. Again, coach kick. Two guys unsure who's going to take it. If it falls to the ground, West recovers. It's like deja vu. They're back here at the inside of the Sherry.
And I wasn't correct. I think that the recovery was made by possibly Aaron Kennedy. I thought I saw 41. I think it was 11 on the recovery. So again, the Bucks with a 7-0 lead have the ball down at the 31-yard line. Backs are split. Actually, wing to the right side. Now man goes in motion. And his Camburn pitch goes wide. Carrying the ball for good yardage is going to come back, I do believe. We may have either a hold or possibly a movement on the line as the ball was pitched to Patrick Jarrett.
Actually, that's Bobby Warden.
Was that Bobby Warden? I'm sorry, I said that.
Patrick Jarrett's going to wear number 3. Interesting, a lot of the key guys tonight in the lineup for West. You got Warden wearing number 2, Jarrett's wearing number 3, McKinstry's number 4. You got James West wearing 5, and Phil DiGiacomo 6, and Oriole number 8. So a lot of the key guys in that
easy to read.
up.
You would think, but I can't tell a 2 from a 3. That's the problem. DiGiacomo, of course, I'm used to wearing number 12 for so long that, you know, seeing it number 6, it's a little different. See what the penalty is.
So we had a guy go in motion as we have a player
being intended, number 55, Joe Aquero.
It will be a hold, and it will be against the Bucks.
I was thinking the man in motion, who that was number 41, that was John Gross. Make that for West. I'm looking on the wrong roster. Dave Camburn, who should know better. but he's coming in motion. I thought maybe he stepped upfield and it was illegal motion.
I think they hooked him when they tried to contain. But I got to tell you something. The most famous spotter in high school football. Now we have an injury report. Let's see what we've got down on the field.
Guys, senior Joe Aguero, number 55, went down on that last play and was holding his knee. It doesn't look particularly great right now. He's being attended to by the medical staff. I'll follow through and check in on him a little bit and let you guys know what happened. Back up top.
As I was saying, as they help Joe Aguero off the field, it doesn't look good. His leg, as John mentioned, he has the injury, but they're helping him off right now. One thing we do want to mention, up in the booth here, behind Walter McConish is probably the most famous spotter in all of high school football in Pennsylvania. A gentleman by the name of, what is his name? Oh, Mike Pitton. See, that's right. I knew that he looked familiar.
First down, West.
He's doing the spotting, I'm telling you. One year he's the head coach of a state championship team. The next year he's spotting football.
I guess West.
Hopefully Mike will be able to join us. We'd love to talk to him. We'll see what happens. At any rate, the holding call goes against West, and instead of being a first, that'll be first and 10 down inside the 20. It'll be first and 14 at the 34-yard line. Backs split. Camburn wide left. Now he goes in motion. And the pitch goes to DiGiacomo around the left side. A lot of room now. It's going to close up. And he turns the corner, gets to the 25-yard line. He'll be about 5 yards shy of the first down.
DiGiacomo, we can't give this kid a lot of credit. We all know last year, at the end of the year, Phil had a lot of injuries, and he's really done a great job to get himself in shape. Probably the best shape I've ever seen him in. He's really big and strong now, and he's running people over. He leads the team in touchdowns. He's got, I believe, 8. Hasn't had a lot of carries. A lot of that is done by Camburn and the other backs. But Phil, when they get close, he's the guy. They give him the ball down inside the 5, and he gets it in.
One of the most courageous players I ever saw. He played with so many injuries last year. It's just such a super job. And now he's back. It looks like he's healthy. It's 2nd and 4 after the 10-yard gain by DiGiacomo. Camburn in motion. And so handoff underneath and carrying the ball for short yardage is DiGiacomo. He'll be about 2 yards shy of the first down, make it 3rd and 2. Ball goes down to the 23-yard line.
Ball carried by Phil DiGiacomo. Stopped by number 36, Chuck Coach. Gain on a play.
Chuck Coach again on attack. Very active linebacker for Neshaminy. Just had a couple tackles early here for the Redskins. Redskins come in 2-2. They beat one of the Catholic League teams early, and then beat Pennsbury in overtime, a really good game, and they've lost the game to CB East 21-7. So they're 2-2 coming in. We know West is 4-0 and going for number 50 tonight.
3rd and short. And it goes upfield. I believe that's
Bobby Warden.
Bobby Warden. And Warden will be close to the first down if not getting. You know, for all these years, you've been used to having first Dave Armstrong, then Dustin Ricciardi. They don't have that huge running back that they've had for the past 6-7 years. But you know what? They still get the job done because they still have the great front line that does the blocking for them.
Got Nick Daly up there, Justin Otten. Some big guys, worked hard in the weight room. Probably, if not the strongest team West has ever had. And I'll bet you Joe Holman will tell you it is. That's just a credit to how hard these kids work.
Backs again, split and first down. Again, man in motion is Camburn. It's a keeper by Oriole. He cuts it inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. He'll be about 3 yards shy of the first down. And the holes are there, Tommy. It's precision right now. They're just grinding it out. Into the quick first score. Now they want to move into nice and easy. Take a little time.
Well, Mike Oriole really is proved his ability to run the football. Let's go down to John right now.
Guys, Joe Aguero, number 55 from Neshaminy, the senior that went down with the kneecap injury. Dr. Charles Burmeister, the team doctor for Central Bucks West, just informed me it was dislocated. They popped it back in. He's going to be okay. Might not play for a couple weeks, but he should be okay. Back up top.
And back to live action. 2nd and 4. Handoff goes to Warden. He breaks from the line, gets to the 5 to 3. Touchdown, Bobby Warden takes the ball in over the left side. Beautiful blocking, escapes the tackle, and he puts them all in, and it's 13-0, and we have barely played 4 minutes and 19 seconds. It's already 13-0.
It's amazing how the bloodlines follow each other. CB West, you have Scotty, Bobby, you've had all the evangelicals, all the carries. It's amazing how the coaches here really know that stuff. Bob, I'll tell you, Bobby Ward's done a great job to get himself in the start.
It's close. That's a big play. Gets it out of the Jaguars' pick. It's good. It's 14-0. The Bucks lead. Tommy, I tell you, it's been a great year for West. It looked like we didn't know what to expect from West, but I tell you, we got a game coming up in a couple of weeks. It's back. East-West, the excitement is there. East undefeated also, having handled Pennsbury today. East goes in undefeated. It looks like the Power and the Power 10 goes right down Route 202 from Buckingham, Doylestown, to Lansdale, as North Penn, after losing the game for what you consider to be one of the top teams in the area, St. Joe's Prep, has just had their way with teams since then.
Right-hand side of the West bleachers.
Both teams have to, obviously West has to finish the game tonight. They got a tough game next week, as does East. But it's head on, here it comes. See,
I was shocked with the East handled Council Rock. Council Rock usually is a tough team, and they're no slouch this year, but East just has those weapons. Tingle in that crowd, terrific. Gross will lead the lineup. Let's see if Neshaminy has their hand scheme in here now, because they haven't had an offensive play yet. They're down 14-0. Another high, short kick. And this one will be handled. Cutting it to the right side and getting it up over the 25 to the 27-yard line is Steve Bezak.
Let me tell you a little bit about Steve. He's a kid. I've had an opportunity to coach at CBW for many years, and he played for an organization called Assumption. And I'm telling you, he was one of the premier players in grammar school and junior high school for the Assumption team. And he's a real big player here tonight for this Neshaminy team.
Jay Weeder is the quarterback for the Redskins, who will run their first play from scrimmage, down 14 points. Backs are in the eye. On first down. Handoff goes to the deep back, carrying it for some good yardage there was Jamar Brittingham, the man we were talking about before. He was there.
Jamar Brittingham had some big yardage in the first game of the year. I believe it was against Father Judge. Really just ran all over him, a couple touchdowns and over 280 yards rushing, but he hasn't seen that success in some of the other games. He's going to find it hard tonight running against his tough West defense.
6-yard carry for Brittingham. Jay Collins lined up in the backfield with him behind Weeder. Man goes in motion. On second down, it goes to Brittingham, cuts it up inside, and he's close to the first down. He'll be possibly a half-yard shy, depends on the spot. But so far in the first two plays, that offensive line for Neshaminy has found some gaps in the Buck defense.
Yeah, they've done a good job. Brittingham's done a good job to cut back on his blocks.
First down, Neshaminy.
Shaw on the tackle in there for West, also Jared in there. And we'll try to get some of the names of the guys as we go along here. In there on defense, you got Zach Ingram. We saw a lot of big plays out of him last year. Phil DiGiacomo's in there. Adam Shaw, as we mentioned. Pat Jarrett playing D-line. Gavin Fodder. Andy Varillo back. An interesting story about Andy.
Talk about that in a moment. On 1st and 10, as they did get the first down, backs are in the eye. It again goes to their main man, Brittingham. Big start. It gains about 6 or 7 yards, and it's an explosive first step. They talk about it in basketball. Football. He takes that football, hits the line, and he's got 5 yards for the first down. And he's second down a lot.
He gets off the ball very well. Very quick first step. You see a bunch of the big West fans here tonight all along the fence. A couple of guys there. Jack Lafferty, a local guy, does a lot of great coaching in the Mount Carmel track program, standing along the fence.
Second down and 4 again, and again to Brittingham. No, it's a keeper, and it's an end around, carrying the ball for short yardage as the Bucks were right out on the Jack. So they used the fake to Brittingham to try and get the linebackers sucked in. But good defensive play by the defensive backfield of the West. They gained 2, but that was about all. That looked like a play.
Number 23, Fran Golden.
Fran Golden coming up from his corner spot to take him down short of the first down. A long one, I'd say 1.5 here. A big play for Neshaminy because they want to be able to get this here, keep this drive going. But they don't want to give the ball back to that mighty Buck offense.
3rd and a long one, just shy of the 49-yard line. Got to get to just around the 50 to get the first down. Handoff goes to Brittingham, and he's got the first down and then some. Cuts it well inside Buck territory, inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, and that gap was way wide open. Of course, Mike Carey, having his roots in defense, has got to be
Interesting, you know, we've seen a lot of West games over the years where West loves to run the short side of the field. Neshaminy giving them a little bit of that tonight. Really haven't run wide with Brittingham. You think they take advantage of the wide side of the field, but all the plays have been to that right side, short side of the field, and they've been very successful.
So 1st and 10, the ball at the 34-yard line of West. Good drive by Neshaminy, all on the ground. Weeder. Again to Brittingham. He's got the opening on the right side. He's inside the 25 to the 30 to the 25-yard line, to beg your pardon. He'll have another Neshaminy first down, and these holes are huge.
And again, they run short side of the field, same little off-tackle play. It's a step right, and he's bursting up in. Good offensive line play by Neshaminy, and Mike Carey's going to take timeout.
Wants to take timeout and regroup. That left side of the defense for the Bucks has just had holes cut in it, and Brittingham, you got to give some credit to Brittingham. He hits that hole fast, and he's a tough character to bring down. Right now, they just got to shore it up, and this makes it dangerous because, like you said, they tried that little end-around reverse with a fake to Brittingham. At this point, you've got to keep an eye on Brittingham, and we'll take a look at him momentarily because he is a load to carry right there, and he's a tremendous runner. As we see on the sideline,
that's Mike Oriole.
Mike Oriole. There's a carry by Brittingham. They say he's just shy of the first down.
Well, I like what Mike Carey does there. You have somebody running some plays against you, you call timeout, you bring the guys over and you say, what's going on out there? What kind of small adjustment can we make? And you know that he got that from his mentor, Mike Benton.
John Price, what you got on the field?
Jamar Brittingham is no stranger to varsity action. Last season, he was an all-league D-back with 7 interceptions. This season, he's got 7 runs of over 30 yards. He's got good speed, 4.6. Coach Mark Schmidt from Neshaminy says he's got even better game speed. Back up top.
This is one of the best things
Country Club. Tickets are $25, and they're being sold tonight at a table to the right of the West bleachers. Plan now to attend this memorable night, honoring athletes and coaches.
Right now, they're measuring, they're calling the timeout, and Coach Carey
will also be sold
second again. Right now, they just want to tighten up a little bit. 14-0 lead, we still have 4:16 to go in the first quarter, so this game is far from over. We're only not even 8 minutes into the first quarter. He just joined the CBW, recovered 2 straight kickoffs. Second play from scrimmage after recovering the fumble in the first kickoff. Pass to Oriole, he ran in for 25 yards, and then the Bucks kicked off with a short kick again, recovered the kickoff again, drove downfield, and it was Bob Warden from about 15 yards out that did the honors. Extra points both good, and it's 14-0, but Neshaminy has carried the ball well from their own 35-yard line, now down to the 25-yard line of Central Bucks West. We're about ready for action to begin again. 4:16 to go, first quarter. Glad you could join us for this Suburban 1 contest. Weeder hands the ball up to Jay Collins. Collins gets the first down, and that might just have been a case of the Bucks looking for Brittingham.
They're keen on Brittingham. He goes in motion, linebackers moving over, and it's just a quick little dive play to Collins. He gets big yardage, first down. It looks like we're going to have an official timeout.
This is a slow-moving game, and it's frustrating for both teams because they want to get the action going. Neshaminy's got a roll going. There's just an equipment repair, so we have a very brief timeout. But we had the injury, then we had the elongated timeout by the measurement. And now it's 1st and 10. Neshaminy with the ball at the Buck 20-yard line. Weeder with the backs in the eye. Counter give. Carrying the ball is Beeger. Now that's a play that we've seen so many times the Bucks using on the wingback counter.
Right, B-Jack is just going to come back on the counter. A nice job by the backside linebacker to stop him after about 2-3 yard game. Usually see that play go 7-8 yards, but then you'll adjust to it. There, I thought West did a pretty good job on it for seeing it for the first time. Generally, the counter will go big the first time you run it, and then a team will shut it down on it.
B-Jack's another one's got to be watched as time set. Now backs are in the eye. My money's on Brittingham carrying the ball this time. Weeder, and it does go to Brittingham. He's got it. He's got 5. Look at him push that stack back. Down around the 10-yard line. I'll tell you, this Somar Whittingham has just shown us a lot right now. He's a tremendous running back. He's only a junior, 6 foot, 180 pounds. Take a look at it again. Watch him push the stack.
72 pulls there for Neshaminy. He kicks out the end, and he runs it up there for a nice gain. 3rd and 1. Big play here for the Indians. Trying to keep himself in the game, trailing 14-0, Bobby. 2:43 to go in this first quarter.
3rd and less than 1. Ball at the 10-yard line. Handoff goes to Collins. He's got the first down. Drives down to the 5-yard line. I'll tell you what, Neshaminy looks great on offense so far. They have really dominated the line of scrimmage, and a lot has to go to Brittingham making those big runs. He makes Collins' run so much easier because you got to keep an eye on number 34.
Some of those linemen, Steve Brett up there, Chase, Sylvester on that offensive line, also number 85, Pete Markman, really doing a great job coming off the ball, staying on their blocks for Neshaminy, and they got a real impressive drive going here. Just over 2 minutes to go in this first quarter.
First and goal, ball at the 5-yard line. Brittingham, touchdown. Untouched into the end zone. Brittingham, who really just capped that whole drive, tremendous drive, mainly from Brittingham. He takes it 5 yards in, and with 2:05 to go in the first quarter, we got ourselves a ball game again. The Redskins now trail 14-6. Extra point will be attempted right now by Mike Malin. Out of Weeder's hold. High snap put down. Malin puts it up and good, and we have a 7-point game. The Bucks, after getting 2 kickoff recoveries, 1 more recoveries, drive the ball downfield. But Neshaminy puts a great drive on. Here's the touchdown run, and he's untouched.
I'll tell you, it was a very impressive drive. It really shows you the character of this Neshaminy team. They're down 14-0 to a great team, great tradition on their home field, and they could have packed it in early. They decided we're going to play some football. Great drive, punch it in at 2:05 here in the first quarter. It's 14-7.
So now the Bucks will take it back on offense, and they will, believe it or not, receive the first kickoff of the game. It just seems like this game has been going on forever. We're still in the first quarter. You see the Comcast scoreboard, 14-7, CB West with the lead. But Neshaminy has got to put a few scares into some of the Buck faithful, because realistically, that was a tremendous drive. And the Bucks drive was both short drives after recovered fumbles on kickoffs.
Coach Schmidt's got to love that. Who knows what's going to happen here? If you had to guess, West is going to have a big game. But that drive right there is something that Coach Schmidt can build on all year with this Neshaminy team, because there aren't many teams that have come in here and did do what we just saw that team do and march down on a CB West team.
I'll tell you, the last team I saw run that easily against West, I go back to the playoffs when Aaron Harris was at Downingtown. That's the last time I can remember running like that. It's early though, so there's a lot of things that can happen, but I got a half a smile from Coach. Malin with a kick, a good high kick. And it will be taken by Camber into his 5, cuts it to the outside. has no room to run it. He'll be taken down just shy or just over the 15-yard line. Neshaminy gang tackling. Good coverage and a great high kick.
I'll tell you, Jamar's brother Sherman did a great job. West had a perfect wall set up there. He got up in the wall and did not let Camber come down the alley. He did a great job. If he wasn't there, that would have been a touchdown.
I'll tell you what I also saw happen. It looked like Ingram and Camber almost got their signals mixed because it went right between them. And you know what happens? One looks at the other, and Cameron actually had a little
You
bit
got
of
it.
handle
No,
the ball.
I got it.
I got it. Oh, okay, I'll take it.
Next thing you know, it falls between them, and the other team has the ball. It didn't
Exactly.
happen.
Ball at the 16-yard line as the Bucks will start deep in their own territory. Backs in the eye. Camburn in motion on 1st and 10. Pitch goes wide to Bob Warden. Cuts outside. He'll take it up over the 20-yard line to the 22. So far, both teams have been able to run well against the opposing team's defense. The Bucks have had a great running game, and the Neshaminy, of course, just pulled their way through the Buck defense. A gain of a little over 5 on the play. Make it 2nd and 5, ball at the 22-yard line.
Gene Rich is the center, number 55 for West, 76. We had mentioned early, Justin Otten, Josh Sands playing tackle, Nick Daly playing guard. The tight end for West tonight, number 44, Angelo Verillo. Angelo had a chance to play another year of football, and we'll go into that a little bit.
Okay, pitch goes wide. It goes to Warden. He's got a lot of room here. Cuts it upfield. Straight arms. A man is knocked out at the 48-yard line. Oh, great play. Warden got to the corner quickly. They sealed it beautifully. A big gain on the play, and the Bucks are at their own 48-yard line.
You gotta love a kid that runs hard. Bobby gets outside, gives him the stiff arm, ball's in the right hand. He uses the sideline, and he was one step away from trying to turn that corner on Brittingham, who's going to be a tough guy to get by back at his safety spot.
Let's take a look at this again. Watch the seal.
Good block. Nick Daly pulls, boom, he gets a piece of a man, and Bobby Warden gets a big gain.
Ball at the 47-yard line is where they said he stepped out, so it'll be 1st and 10. The Bucks with the ball at their own 47-yard line, 59 seconds to go in the first quarter. Backs are split. Up play action. Wide open is Warden. He's down to the 40, and he's brought down in a great open field tackle by Brittingham at about the 35-yard line. Otherwise, he may have won, and that's the same play they ran to DiGiacomo for the touchdown.
It's a great little roll, just nice and easy. Orioles running, squares his feet, nice easy on the run, hits Bobby Warden in stride, turns it up the field. That's a pretty little play, been real effective tonight for West.
Ball at the 35-yard line, 1st and 10, 40 seconds to go, first quarter. Bucks on top, 14-7. Coming into the game is Adam Scholl. Backs are in the eye. Handoff goes underneath, and carrying it is DiGiacomo. He pushes the stack, and he'll get down to the 30-yard line. I love Phil DiGiacomo. Just a great football.
Phil, tremendous leg strength there. He just keeps him chugging. And what looked like he was going to get 1 or 2 yards, he turns into about a 6-yard gain. So he's 2nd and 4 for West. Neshaminy really hasn't had an answer for this West offense tonight. Really, I think a pretty simple game. Power football, a little fair pass or flat pass, which has turned into big games.
And we have come to the end of the first quarter. A quarter that saw Central Bucks West score 2 quick touchdowns. Neshaminy come back and score a touchdown themselves. And Tommy, I'll tell you, it's been a great offensive line in the first quarter.
That's right. Both teams have had an opportunity to show their stuff on offense, but neither one yet have really shown their defensive prowess. Let's go down to John Price on the field. Hey, John.
Guys, senior Mike Orioles in his 3rd year of starting here at West. Coach Mark Schmidt of Neshaminy was very nervous about that. By all accounts, Mark Oriole has matured into the quarterback that they expected him to be when he entered the program as a starter here as a sophomore. He's completing over 65% of his passes, which is unheard of. He's having a great season so far, and realistically, he's only played about 8 quarters or so, which is about 2 games of football. So we'll expect to see a lot more out of Mike Oriole as the year progresses. Back up to you guys.
How many times, we got big plays on that. There were times the ball wasn't even touched that we got.
I know. Now we're back here as changed the quarter. West up 14-7. They're actually going to get the ball here. It's going to be 2nd and 4 as Bob continues a little conversation with Coach Pettin. Just hard not to talk football with a man who's had 30 years of West football in his blood. And at the break, Bob just sharing his thoughts with Coach Pettin. As you can hear Coach Pettin's voice in the back. Oriole under center.
Directional kicking as we are ready to start the second quarter. Single setback wing. Hand up, no, it's a keeper. Oriole throws it out to Giacomo again, open inside the 20 to about the 16-yard line. And a great play again, wide open. Coach Pettin and I were talking about the directional kicking, and we really got a discussion on sometimes you can recover a ball without it ever being touched. If you're doing it right, in lieu of having a big kicker who can put the ball deep, or you have a return man who's dangerous, and that's what's happened tonight. We saw it happen so many times in the past few years. Let's take a look at the replay on that pass play.
And it's just a little belly fake inside there to Ward. Oriole, good ball fake, and just gets to Giacomo out in the flat, ball in the outside hand, gets what he can. First down, and West is 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line.
Pitch goes wide to Giacomo. He's got some blocking, and straight over a man. Great job to get to the 10. He had a guy right in his sights. That was Austin Jones, and he just straight on him right off the play. Good straight turn to play that might have gained 1 into a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6, the ball now just outside the 10.
And one of the things the West backs always do is they block for one another. There you have Camburn out in front trying to get a hook block onto his guy. And Giacomo does a good job to get out to the sideline. Ran out of real estate, really, but was able to get a few extra yards before he got knocked out of bounds. He ended up with 4.5 yards on the carry. Didn't look like he was going to get much.
So on 2nd down and 6, single setback, wing to the left side. Actually double. Warden in motion, the handoff goes to Bobby Warden, and he'll take it down inside the 5 to the 3 to the 2. Almost in.
West shows you so many different formations. That time Giacomo comes in motion. He's going to cut it up in a hole, followed by Bobby Ward. Does a nice job to break a tackle. Almost gets into the end zone. And we're going to look at a replay of this.
You know, you watch the run, and I almost called him Scotty because he does that. He'll give you the hip, he takes it away. Look at this. He takes it away there, he carries, and he stays on his feet. And I'll tell you what, Scotty was a flashy type. Bobby's got good running speed, but he'll dish out a blow when he has to.
Bobby's a bigger, much bigger back than Scotty.
Absolutely. Power look. Into the end zone. Is he in? He's in. Touchdown, Mighty Bucks. And 11 to go in the second quarter. It goes to 20-7. Folks, we're not in for a picture shoot today. I think we're going to have a home run derby going on. We are barely into the second quarter. We've already seen 4 scores put on the board. It's going for the extra point again. The Andrew Gross. We have a timeout, officials timeout.
Bobby runs right behind John Arsenal, guard. Good block, and Bobby finds an alley for the score.
Gross out of the Giacomo's hole. Big kick, and the kick is no good. It's wide right, so it's 20-7.
Looks like they've had a little trouble on the snap, and it's delayed getting the ball down, and the kicker's kind of taking him out of his rhythm a little bit. Nonetheless, West is ahead 20-7. Again, both offenses really showing it. We've got to see if that West defense can gel now, Bobby. Neshaminy's going to get it back. They haven't been able to find an answer for Jamar Brittingham.
Well, now the Bucks defense gets tested, or you think so, depending on if Neshaminy can hang on to the kickoff again. It seems like Neshaminy has to hold the kickoff in order to be able to show their offense. Obviously, so far they're only 1 for 3 in that. Let's see what happens. I'm sure Coach Schmidt has gotten that straightened out as he puts some of his hands team up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage.
West plays Council Rock next week, Bob, followed by that East-West game. So they really have 2 tough games. We know that's looking ahead, but we were talking about it earlier, just so people want to know what the games are. Next week is Council Rock over here at War Memorial, and the following week is CB West.
Oh, wait a minute.
CB
I think I may be here for that game.
I think we're going to be here.
I think we're both going to be here for that game. And then East-West, how could we not be here? Lining up for the kickoff is Gross. We have Deep Brittinghammer's deep, of course, and they're going to try and keep it away from the shooting into the direction of kicking. Going right to left now. Gross hits it. High, not terribly deep, but we take it again by Beecher. He's sealed in. He gets a little bit of yardage up to the 25-yard line. Bijak. I'm going to get his name right here.
Bijak.
Bijak. I call him Bijak. He's not the goaltender for the Flyers anymore.
But
I got a Bijak.
Zach Ingram's mom sitting in front of us. I love how the moms help me with the names. The kicker's name is Ross. Ross.
That makes me look like a pretty good doc. At any rate, Neshaminy with the ball. Let's see what happens here again. Weeder at quarterback. And the handoff goes to Brittingham, going outside. He's blocked down in the backfield. On a great open field tackle by James West.
There's James West. Out hits his body weight. Gotta love this guy. But there, they went against what they were doing. The whole last drive, they ran short side of the field, did not try to get wide with Brittingham. There they do it. That's what the West defense is set up to take out that sweep. They haven't figured out that short side off tackle. Mike Carey, you can see him in the screen there earlier, yelling instructions to his defense. Defense is Mike's pride. He loves defense. He knows that's what wins, and he wants to get these guys to gel.
Backs are in the eye, man in motion. Second down and 11. Back to pass is Weaver. Throws a short pass. Threads the needle nicely, and a nice reception by number 12, Matt Negrati.
Tackled by Shaw and Franny Golden. Adam Shaw and Franny Golden up to make the tackle. It'll be a long 3rd and 7 for this Neshaminy team.
Dangerous pass, a lot of hands in the air, and Weeder did a good job to thread it in there, but the Buck defense is right there to stop it.
But the difference is, you watch the replay here, is the receiver's catching the ball with his back to the defense. It takes you a whole second to turn around and get back going. Or if you can, where the West passes, they cut guys in stride, they go for big yardage.
Down to 6 ball at the 29-yard line. Backs are in the eye. In motion now goes Brittingham. Weeder, 2-step drop. The ball's tipped and it's going to fall incomplete as it was blocked at the line of scrimmage, and the Bucks are home. And Neshaminy will have to, well, I would think they'll have to punt on 4th down. It'll be the first punt of the game.
Gavin Potter gets a little bit of a hand on the ball, enough to make it flutter and lose its flight, and it'll be 4th down, and Neshaminy will have to punt. So that West team, you can see, starting to warm up, starting to gel, and they're going to get the ball back, I would say, in pretty good field position.
Camburn and DiGiacomo are back deep, and in the punt is Bijak. Thank you.
Steve Bijak.
Long count. I'm trying to draw him off now. Low snap handle, punted away, high kick. It'll be handled by DiGiacomo at his own 37. Fake on the reverse, goes around to the right side, got to get around one man and won't be able to do it. That's holding his ground nicely, and the play was damn close. Otherwise, big return possibly there by DiGiacomo.
Well, Camburn has had some big games early on. He's had punt returns back-to-back with an earlier game, and I heard there were a couple kids talking after the game saying that the coaches asked them to try not to score so they could run some offensive plays. There you see, they try to run a little razzle-dazzle, a fake to Camburn. DiGiacomo keeps it, but Cook did a great job to stay in his lane. And I want to welcome aboard here Mr. Mike Peck.
How you doing?
Great, how are you?
Well, it feels a little strange to have this vantage point up here.
Well, what do you see so far? You got to be happy with that defensive series after the first one.
There's no question. They settled down defensively. And one of the concerns Coach Carey had was, our linemen aren't that big this year.
Right.
So, we're going to be susceptible to some power football, but overall our team speed is more than compensating.
Well, what do you think about the little finesse passes off of this offense? Before you had the big backs in past year, now you can dump it to Camber, dump it to Giacomo, and they can take it a long way.
He's got a great bunch of receivers. You got to give Coach Carey and the spotters up top passing on first down. This team is loading 11 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and there goes another one wide open.
A ball fake. The fake makes the play. He sells the fake. And Zach Ingram runs free into the secondary. Does that give you a goosebumps, Mike?
And I'm just excited for Mike Oriole because, he's showing all the poise that, has been developing over the last couple of years. His passing percentage is up 65, 70%. I'm sure he's very pleased with his receivers. The line blocking schemes. And they have a lot of weapons. I don't know who's going to stop him this year. It's going to be pretty tough.
Well, I like his ability. He's improved his ability to run the football. I know early on in his career when he was a sophomore and junior, you were a little reluctant to let him run, but I've watched him a little bit this year. He's gotten stronger and he looks more confident running the ball.
Yeah, it was just a matter of growing into his body. As a 10th grader, he was very slim. Now he's put on a lot of weight. All that work from Joe Holman in the weight room, and with more strength, you get more speed. And he has exceptional 40 speed, and he can run the bootleg and the keeper and all the things we used to do with Corey Potter and all the other quarterbacks that had some great speed.
Well, West has decided to go for 2 here. There's a penalty on the play, a little motion, so Mike's called Oriole over to the sideline. They're going to get another play in here. They're looking to get that extra point back that they missed on the last score. What do you look for here? What would you call here?
If you get into a scoring contest, you never know when you're going to need that extra point.
What do you think Mike's
Well, I know in similar circumstances, he's run a little pick play down here.
What is that?
Well, technically a pick play is illegal, but you really don't pick the guy. You just, man on the weak side will go in motion, do like an underneath and a flat, and it's very difficult for the defender to run across the formation and cover him because you have 2 or 3 other defenders he has to bump him.
Here comes a replay. Why don't you talk to this replay, Mike?
Well, it's a great fake. He has his choice of several receivers, and there's an example of the defensive back looking into the backfield instead of keying the receiver.
Right. So as long as the quarterback has the ball, he's taught to get deep. That defensive back came up on the run. He's wide.
Well, because he was watching the backfield action, which looked like a running play. To the credit of the CB West offense. But we always tell our guys, no matter what's happening in the backfield, you key the receivers coming off the line. And obviously, had he done that, he wouldn't have been beaten by 20 yards.
Well, I asked you a question which probably goes without saying. Do you miss it?
I miss parts of it, and parts of it I don't miss. Game night right now, I miss a great deal.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's great having you up here, and I know you meant a lot to this community, more than just football. You've been a mentor to a lot of young men and women that have come through CB West, and I know you're a teacher first, and you've done a lot of great things for people.
Well, I appreciate that. I've had a lot of help. Of course, great players and super coaches, and you can see the team's in good hands with Coach Carey and the rest of the staff. They're doing a phenomenal job.
Mike Oriole's
that little oh, I'm sorry now.
Looks like a little screen play. He's going to get it to Giacomo, and I'm not sure. He didn't get in. He came close, right to the cone, and he gets knocked out, and the extra point will be no good. So at the 8:20 mark here in the second quarter, CB West up 26-7. Tom White here with former head coach of CB West, Mike Pettin, and we're going to have an extra point. Why don't you talk to this play?
Well, it's really a good call. It doesn't get in, but a screen pass, you only need a couple of yards, and it's a change up to what they have been doing. So here's a situation where he went away from the scouting report and called the right play. It just didn't get in. you got to give credit. Here's an ex-lineman, Mike Carey, and you know, he's calling these games like he's an ex-quarterback.
Well, you know, linemen always wanted to be a quarterback.
Well, you know,
or
he's
a
been
back,
frustrated many years, and now he's getting his turn. He's doing a great job.
Well, I'll tell you, talk about, you know, the position he came in. There was a lot of talk, who should be the coach. In my mind, I don't think there was ever any other choice than Mike Carey to come in behind Mike Pettin.
Well, he deserved it, number one. He was the most prepared. You know, over the years, he developed into calling the defenses, became assistant head coach, and helped me with administrating the rest of the staff and the team. So it wasn't much of a change for him, except the monumental time that goes with being a head coach and all the peripheral problems that he never realized existed. But
all the things that you had to deal with that he didn't have to worry about.
Yeah, well, no matter who an assistant coach is and how much experience, it's just a different level when you become a head coach. But he's adapted very well, and I can't say enough about how they're doing.
Ross kicks off. Steve Bijak will take it, and he's tackled by a host of Bucks. And Mike, I think Bob's going to step in here.
I don't want to take
you stay on. I'm going to let Bob share some time with you.
You stay.
Tackle by number 10, Jeff.
By the way, you have the job.
Number 11.
As the Bucks of the kickoff, Neshaminy holds on to the ball. I wanted to ask a question. Obviously, one of the big things early this fall was the documentary that came in. You proud to see your grandchildren on ESPN?
Yeah, that was the biggest thrill for me to see my grandkids.
Interesting documentary, but let's go into the game right now as Neshaminy now trailing 26-7. And the handoff will go to Brittingham, and he cuts it inside. Good runner. He's got a great first step, it looks like.
You know, he runs like he's about a 220-pound back. Very strong, very determined. He's getting some good blocking. You know, Neshaminy coming in, we knew they had an excellent group of offensive and defensive linemen.
Now, take a look at the replay. And take a look. It shows a good. He finds the hole nicely there.
Well, you know, they're getting a push. I'm sure when these guys have Monday night film, the defense will be told about some of the play out there, which right now they're getting manhandled.
On second and a little shy of 3 yards to go, backs are in the eye. And falling down, but getting the ball to Brittingham. Brittingham will be stopped shy of the first down. That play had trouble right from the beginning, but good gang tackling on the left side of the line.
There was good pursuit. He had to cut back, and the guys went open. They filled the lane and made the play.
So it's a third down, it'll be a third and about 2, and right now the officials have a time. It looks like an equipped Tack Ingram has an equipment change coming on there. Just talking about that documentary, it was an exciting documentary to watch. It was an interesting concept of high school football and how the game is played. I found it to be fascinating, I really did. And of course they centered around the games between you and Mike Jr.
Right.
But really it was a season unto itself. I really enjoyed watching the documentary.
Yeah, most football people responded as they thought it pretty much portrayed what they remembered with the intensity in the locker room and how teams prepare. And it was interesting to get some insight on how teams get ready for CB West.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a great look at that. I really enjoyed watching. Most interesting thing was listening to Jim Church do his broadcast.
He's got a great voice. Came over quite well.
Anyway, back to football action. Handoff goes, and carrying the ball, he'll grab the first down as Brittingham gets the ball into the line. He shows a good ability to have that quick first step, but the power when he makes the line really is impressive.
Yeah, he squares his shoulders, and he's running full speed when he plants and gets upfield. And I'm just surprised when I heard he was 180-some pounds. Just watching him earlier in the year, I figured the guy's 215, 220.
He's underneath, but he's got that tremendous lower body strength. He gets his legs going on that. Here he comes again, carrying it for 3, 4 yards, 5 yards. Finally, gang tackles back. Ball comes loose, but it'll be on the ground. So they get up to midfield, and I'll tell you, Brittingham, he's just running like he's possessed right now.
I'm sure, if West goes on to win this game, Mike Carey's main concern will be, what if we get into a situation where we're not scoring a lot of points and we're getting pushed around a little bit by an offense who's controlling the football? So this is going to be a major area of concentration next week's practice.
Let's take a look one more time at the run by Brittingham. We may see that momentarily. There it is. Good power at the gang tackle. They got to bring him down. But after a gain of 6, and of course, as a coach, you always have to look at the other side of it. Sure, he got 26 points, but they've run the ball very nicely against us. And you're right, against a team that's got a more significant defense. This time they bring him down. The ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground, and the Bucks have got it. Great defensive play. Brittingham, they got him. They hit him low. They jarred the ball loose. And the recovery, let's see who was on the tackle. Was that Gavin Potter?
Well, it didn't surprise me that Potter get up. Pound for pound, you won't find anybody better than Gavin Potter.
Tough kid. And he's the quality of kid who plays for Central Bucks, but not just for Bucks, but in football itself. The quality of the player is just tremendous. I watch it game after game, and high school football, there's nothing better to watch. I think it's just the best thing.
Well, you know, and I'm partial, especially in this area.
Absolutely.
There's a little inside counter. They were waiting for it, but you know, when I coached in the Big 33 game, we had quite a representation from our league in District 1.
Right.
Which, you know, is a testimony to the kind of football we play in this area.
Well, it looks like the balance of power right now and the power of 10. Looks like I was saying to Tommy earlier, looks like it goes right down 202 from Buckingham to Doylestown to Lansdale. It looks like those three teams are going to be battling right down.
There seems to be two clear-cut divisions. There are the teams that are rebuilding and really struggling, and then the upper echelon are, you know, representative of, you know, good Power 10 football.
And a lot of people thought at the opening game when North Penn lost to St. Joe Prep, well, maybe they're not the same team they were last year, but nobody realizes exactly how good St. Joe's Prep is.
Not only that, but if anybody was at the game, I think North Penn was down 1 score going into the last quarter. And if it wasn't for their porous defense, which they got hopefully straightened out.
Repeat, second down.
They could have been right in that game.
Absolutely.
But there's no question that St. Joe's Prep, phenomenal quarterback. He's a Division I prospect. Where was he last year? I heard he started the last 5 or 6 games. The kid's 6'6", he has a gun. And what really helped their offense is they spread North Penn out, and then that runner ends up scoring 6 touchdowns. So they're going to, if they're beaten by somebody in the Catholic League, it's going to take an excellent football team.
Now we're having a flag festival right now. What do we have here? Too much time?
Flag on flag.
Back judge, so I got to think he usually keeps the clock. Let's see if it's delay or we have an illegal.
Too many men.
Not too many men.
Okay, we're going to go 5 yards and second down again. Okay.
Well, sometimes
Dead ball.
you need that against the Bucks.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 5 yards. Second down.
So we go the other way 5 yards, and it'll be second down back to where they were before.
5 yard penalty. Second down. 9.
And we are back here. We are pleased to have Coach Mike Peck, Sr. And we have a timeout called by the Bucks. Now, what's in the coach's mind? The timeout is called here. What's Mike Carey want to do right here?
Well, I think he's just going to concentrate on the mistakes. He'll talk to some individuals. He's going to be looking at his play card. And the one thing I want to point out is a lot of people are always asking, why does West take all their timeouts like early in the game? We usually have none left. There's no sense saving them. Sometimes you can determine the outcome of the game by taking those timeouts early. So, I tell you, that was a great timeout he took when Neshaminy was driving. Now, they still got in for the score. But, I mean, from the coaching standpoint, that was the best time to get them over, calm them down.
It's like I say, I've always said that you can't bank the timeouts. Why not use them as long as you got them?
Yeah, I usually ended up at halftime without any and when the game ended. But sometimes you just have to call them so you're out of a bad play. You see a kid line up wrong, you got the wrong personnel in there. Where you feel you're taking too much time, you want to get the timeout before you get a delay of the game.
And get everybody on the same page here. So we have 4:12 to go in the second quarter. Bucks up 26-7, ball right at midfield. Second down 9 after a couple of penalties, offsetting penalties. Backs are split. Actually not split, they're offset to the left side. Now back to pass goes Oriole. Uh-oh, he's under a rush and he's gonna go down. Oh my.
pressure by Oriole.
But he got the ball away. I'll tell you, it was a nice pass. I kind of lost him a little bit of life, but he threw the ball. Nice pass for the first down.
And Bobby Warden, 101 in the open field. Not only does he have moves, he's one of the most powerful backs around.
Well, let's take a look at this again as we goes back. Let's see if we've got it right here. Bobby Warden, you know, and here it is. It's a handoff on the play, and I missed that completely, of course. But Bobby Warden, you don't like to compare brothers. Scotty was a speed demon. Bobby likes to hit a little bit more, it looks like.
Well, Bobby looks like a big power back, but also, don't kid yourself, he has great speed.
Oh, yeah, we can see that. So on 1st and 10, and it goes to Camburn, behind a couple blockers, cuts to the outside. Now break it back in. Oh, great move. Oh, he's wide open again down to the 20. They call him Mr. Excitement last year. He's still Mr. Excitement. Dave Camburn, what a great run.
As I said, they got a lot of weapons. Now, Camburn, you know, he's only carried the ball 3, 4, 5 times a game. First thing you have Bobby Warden.
Let's take a look at Camburn.
Then there's a kid by the name of Giacomo.
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember him.
Well, here's a great cut. He has super field vision, and he shows his toughness at the end.
Just a super
A nasty straight arm, and he was bringing those knees up to get extra yardage.
Ball down to the 17 pitch to Mr. Giacomo. He takes it inside the 15, powers his way down to about the 13.
Really impressed with the way the backs are not allowing the first guy to bring him down. I mean, that's been the characteristic, especially of the stable of backs that he has this year.
Well, I mentioned one thing. For the first time in about 5, 6, 7 years, they don't have the real big back, Dave Armstrong with Dustin Picciotti. Now what they're doing is they're using the strong backs with the speed but the power to hit the line. You don't have the handoff of Picciotti inside the 15 or Armstrong like that. But these 3 backs just do a great job.
Well, you lose something with the blocking because obviously they're not as big. But what you gain the quickness of hitting the hole. And the added dimension is a guy like the Giacomo coming out in the flat, catching the ball, and now you have a running back one-on-one with somebody in the secondary.
Camburn in motion on 2nd and 5.
There we go.
And he goes and carries it into the end zone. The Giacomo with a great carry. And it's 32-7. We're getting toward mercy right now.
Mercy soon.
2:02 to go in the first half. I'll tell you, they've got it all going on all cylinders right now. A little bit scary for a while because Neshaminy really had their way, but the fumble, the great defensive plays, and the Bucks up by 25 points. So we're going to try to make it 26.
Yeah, I thought the defense started to raise its level of intensity, and I'm sure they were embarrassed by that drive. And I'm sure they heard about it down at the...
Absolutely. Ross for the extra point. Out of the Giacomo's whole play, he's got to play.
What can I say? They're coming at him from all kinds of directions.
So with 2:02 to go in the first half, the Bucks take a 33-7 lead, and on that touch, I'm going to give it back to Tommy. He can finish it out with you. Hang on a second.
Mike, we got to make you a regular.
Well,
you know what you're talking about.
To a point. You know, I'm not making any bad calls up here. That's the one thing.
That's right. That's right. Well, 2:02 to
After the
go.
play is over, I can always call the right play.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with former head coach of CB West, Mike Penton. Let's go to a break.
Have you been doing any financial planning lately? Have you heard about time dollars? Time flies, but don't miss this investment. Invest a little time in being a friend to an older person. It will enrich your life as well as enriching theirs. The Time Dollar program is like money in the bank. Your volunteer hours are saved for you until you need the same attention, or if you wish, you can donate them to someone else. We will find you a senior friend. Can you find the time? Call the Time Dollar program for an investment of a lifetime. The number is 215-348-0510. Time Dollar program is sponsored by the Bucks County Area Agency on Aging, the Pennsylvania Department of Aging, and the Department of Health and Human Services Administration on Aging. Remember, share your time with an older person and enrich your life.
you've seen him.
Oh.
You've seen him before. Excuse me. Hello? He's back. Are you sure? Did you activate the force field? And he still got through. All right, we're gonna need the super cape. The Cycloptic invaders attacking.
The Cycloptic invaders back. They do this.
All right, okay, all right, now turn on the light transformer. Yes. Way to go, Billy, we got him. We just saved the universe. Family.
Thanks, Dad.
Isn't it about time? Bye-bye.
Dessert is on the house for anyone who's saved the universe.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That was Billy. He sings.
And we're back here. CB West just put in another score up 33-7 with 2:02 to go here in this second quarter. Mr. Bross ready to kick off, and he's going to squib it across the ground, trying to avoid it to Whittingham. Nonetheless, the ball is picked up. He gets to the outside, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds. I believe that is the kicker that tackled him out of bounds, Coach. And pretty good field position for Neshaminy with 1:52 to go here in this second quarter.
Yeah, that's a little variety with the pooch kick. Sometimes they squib it. That time it didn't work out. You never want to give a team this type of field position.
Now you're up here 32-7. They got the ball in midfield. You're going to try to come after them, or you're going to play it, play back and prevent. Maybe they're trying to put it up.
Probably Coach Carey's thinking now they're going to have to start throwing a little bit more to get back in the game. So this will dictate maybe a different kind of defense.
Looks like that ball's thrown up, intercepted by Zach Ingram. First down, CB West. Zach Ingram back in coverage, does a good job to stay with his man, and goes up, gets the ball highest point, and CB West is going to get it back with 1:45 to go in the second quarter. We got a man down here for Neshaminy, so we're going to have a timeout while they attend to him. But as you were saying, and here's a replay. Let's talk about the coverage that Zach puts on this Neshaminy player.
Brittingham's down. You know, super coverage. First of all, Zach has tremendous speed, good leaping ability. He got that at, looked like its highest point. And, you know, it's good to have that type of athlete back there with that speed and that athleticism. And you'll probably find Zach lined up on the other team's better receiver.
And he's a kid that you don't always hear about. You hear about the Giacomo and Camber and Oriole. Zach's a guy that you love having as a coach because he can do a lot of things for you, and the opposition a lot of times forgets about it. Like on that pass there, he's probably not the number one guy that the defense is covering. He was wide open, and he makes a giant play for it.
There's no question that if you gang up on some of the other players, thinking we have to stop Warden, we have to stop Camburn, you leave a guy like Ingram open, you're going to have problems.
And he does it for you on
because you know Oriole's matured enough. I mean, he can look the field over and go to the second and third receiver.
Oriole on a soft roll, gets the ball out. He's got a man open. That looks like McKinstry. McKinstry out for football as a senior. Nice job, Oriole. Talk about a quarterback and how hard it is, Mike, as he rolls to his not natural side, his left side, has to throw the football. Oriole does a good job of it.
You got to give him a lot of credit, but we start working them in 10th grade, sprinting out to the left. And there's an example again where he squared his shoulders, had a nice release. He started taking short, choppy steps so he can go across the line of scrimmage. It's something, he's drilled at. It looks easy, it looks natural, and it is to a point, but he's drilled at it very hard for 3 years to make it look this easy.
He does it again, that time to Camber. They keep the drive going. It'll be first and 10. They're now on Neshaminy's 43-yard line. They got 1:15 to go, so they got to watch the clock here as this half winds down. This time Oriole to his right, soft roll. He's got a man wide open, and he overthrows him. It looked like like maybe the receiver slowed down just a hair. I think that's Zach Ingram again. I didn't think he thought that Oriole was coming to him on that. It looked like he just hesitated for a second, and Oriole let it sail a little bit. But there's that same play again. He has 3 guys to throw to, the flat, the mid-flat, and the deep guy, and he had him open again.
Yeah, CB West is always like different variations of the flood pass, and it appeared that's what it was, some type of flood pattern. But I'd like to comment on the protection. They went unbalanced, maximum protection on the sprint outside. You don't want that defensive end coming upfield right now. Okay, now they got a little twins, triple twins we call it.
He's got a man open. He completes the pass. It's going to be first down. The clock is going to continue to run. Actually, he's going to stop the clock as he gets knocked out of bounds. 56 seconds to go. And West keeps the drive alive. First down. And again, Oriole just working that soft roll on that flood, finding a guy open again.
He's looking as sharp as I've seen him. I mean, he's got a lot of velocity on the ball, extremely accurate. That's the big improvement thus far his senior year. He's always been pretty good, but his accuracy is up quite a few percentage points.
This time again left, and he finds another receiver. Pinpoint pass. I believe that's down to Potter. He catches it and goes out of bounds. And Mike Oriole just looking super sharp right now.
Number 23, Grant Golden.
This is great for West down the road. I mean, you're scouting CB West, and you want to put a lot of guys in a box. You might think you want to pay the price. So, and I know Coach Carey would like to see teams play an honest defense, so you can use all your weapons. But you had to be a little crazy not to respect the CB West passing game at this point.
Oriole looks sharp. He's got lots of weapons. Camburn, Zach Ingram, Giacomo, and they all have good hands. I don't ever see one of them drop a pass. Franny Golden in motion, fake to Bobby Warden. He's got the Giacomo. He'll score. Flag, a late flag. Let's see, the referee gives the touchdown signal. I'm going to say maybe it's something on the defense. We'll have to see. But with 32 seconds to go, West is going to be up 39-7. You get an early indication that maybe it's a personal foul on Neshaminy. We'll wait and see, but it's
So we're touchdown away. Touchdowns off the board.
Illegal block on the offense, 10 yards from the previous spot. First down.
CB is going to go against CB West here. An illegal block, a 10-yard penalty from the spot. So it's going to put the ball back at the 20-yard line, first and goal. And with 32 seconds to go, those 6 points come off the board. That's a tough 6 points to take away.
Yeah, that's a tough call when they did a great job, but they still have 32 seconds to get it in there.
This time Warden in motion. Oriole looks across the middle. He's got a guy wide open. It's Adam Scholl. Adam will catch the ball at the 5-yard line. The clock is ticking under 21 seconds. West will call timeout. And they got a nice little spot there. They'll be inside the 5-yard line. 21 seconds to go. They're up 33-7. And Mike Carey's going to take, I believe that's his final timeout here in this first half. What do you got called here, Mike?
Well, that's the final one. You obviously want to throw the ball into the end zone. You get second down. You got a couple throws. You're telling the quarterback, don't get sacked. The other thing, you might go with a quick surprise trap up the middle when they're thinking pass. In which case, if you get stopped, you can spike it and still have another down.
Right. The clock will run if you.
The way Oriole's throwing the ball, you got a couple of throws here. I got to put my money on, maybe the throwback curl over the middle of the tight end, which they just did, or a little what we call throwback X with Camburn coming across the green.
I like Camden.
But I'm really impressed with Mike Oriole's accuracy, and it's nice to see the receivers holding on to just about everything that comes near them.
As we wait for the teams to come back out, talk a little bit about a guy that I think is kind of an unsung hero on your coaching staff, or on Mike's staff now, Joe Holman, and the job he does in that weight room.
Joe Holman, a tremendous asset ever since we had him come into the program. It used to be Mike Carey's job, and it just was becoming too much. You can't spread yourself too thin. So when Joe came in, not only did we get an exceptional weight coach, it kind of released Mike to concentrate more on all the good things he was doing, working with the defense, just all the things that enabled him not really to get burned out, because coming from a hard practice, Mike Carey had to go in the weight room. Now we have Joe there. He knows the business. He works great with the kids.
Well, I'm sure you know this, but he does a lot for a lot of the younger kids that aren't even in your program. So by the time they get there, they're very familiar with him, which is a great thing to have.
I realize, and he works with kids from all different sports. And the word's getting out there, and I understand, a parent with a promising athlete
wants to go to Joe.
Wants to give him the edge. You want to see Joe Holman.
Oriole there on second down after a illegal procedure penalty, pushed him back and lost 5, so they're back to the 10, incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 10, 15 seconds to go in the half, West up 33-7. Now you got a little bit more area to work with. Maybe you look for that flood pattern again with Oriole. He's been so successful with it on this drive.
Yeah, another pattern that's good here, that it's easy to get off. You don't have to worry about a sack, is the old fade pattern. I think it was 2 years ago against North Penn, we got a fade in.
So you spread a guy way out, takes like a 2-step drop, but just offs it and hopes he can out-jump the guy.
They're not in the situation where they look like they're going to throw a fade. This looks like maybe a flood. I think it's what we call the old double comeback.
There again, he tries to get the hook in the end zone. It's going to be incomplete. It's going to be 4th down and goal for CB West. 10 seconds to go. And I'll tell you, I think he had the right play call. He just missed them right there in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, the defender, you got to give credit that time. The defender sometimes will play too soft, but realizing he had to protect the goal line. That was what we call, lock-on coverage, and there wasn't much room to throw that ball in there.
Well, it'll be interesting if you had called the fade earlier, but doesn't look like a fade formation.
This is not the fade formation. This might be a play action.
Oriole, it is play action. He's got a guy in the end zone. Does he have enough room to catch it? No. It's going to fall incomplete. 4 seconds left in the half. The ball will go over on downs. Nonetheless, West will go into the half. Nothing else happens here at 4 seconds ahead, 33-7. We've had a very fortunate opportunity here in this second quarter to have head coach from CB West, the prior head coach of CB West. And I know that's painful for me to say as it is for you to listen to, Mike, but I have enjoyed this immensely, and we'll welcome you back anytime.
Well, it was nice to be here, and as I say, it's very uncomfortable for me in a way, but believe me, there's a lot less pressure here than there is down on the sideline, I can say that. But thanks for having me, Tom and Bob.
Loved it.
Now that's a tough act to follow.
I got a little inside track on how he plays.
Great job. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Final play of the half in all likelihood, and the handoff goes to Brittingham. He's got some room. Carries it out over the 30 to the 31-yard line. And on that play, the half will come to an end. A half that has been an exciting one. Started off like it was for all the world. Both teams running up and down the field as the Bucks scored quickly twice after recovering 2 kickoff fumbles. And then Neshaminy just drove right up the field for a touchdown, 14-7, but it's been all Bucks since then. Teams go to the locker rooms with the Bucks in the lead, 33-7. And Tommy, One thing that stood out in the first half is just the precision passing of Mike Oriole. He has been tremendous. Reminds you a lot of Corey Potter in some ways with the good arm, the good legs, can run the ball well, just does a great job.
I'm sure
I'll tell you what.
The little blip was the defense, which I'm sure will have something to...
We're going to take a quick break. We got a lot to talk about at halftime, but I tell you, what a great thrill that was. I don't know about how you felt, but Mike Pettin's
It was a great job. We'll talk about that momentarily, but right now we're going to take a break, and we will be right back. Don't you dare go away.
No matter who you are.
No matter where you're from.
No matter where you're going.
You can be certain.
No matter who you are.
City girl.
Country boy.
Athlete. Student.
Happy.
Thoughtful. Tall.
Short.
You can be certain. No matter where you're from.
West. South.
Farm.
City. Small towns.
Suburb.
You can be certain. No matter where you're going.
To college.
To work. To train.
To play.
To travel.
To find your place.
You can be certain you need education. You can be certain you need to stay in school. This message is brought to you by the Air Force because we're certain about the value of a good education. No matter what you do in life, aim high.
Sooner or later, you realize you're ready. Ready to believe that you can achieve anything. That it might not always be easy or quick. But the things worth doing rarely are. You know what you want. Get there with education, training, and experience. Aim high, Air Force.
Every sunburn during childhood significantly increases your risk of skin cancer. Protect your children. Protect yourself.
Back at War Memorial Field in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, the scoreboard tells the story as the Mighty Bucks with a 33-7 halftime lead. Bob Friedman along with Tom White, John Royce on the sidelines. We're back together again, the Eagle Three. And of course, color analyst superb, Coach Mike Pettin, senior of Central Bucks West. They took care of the second quarter and did a great job. I'll tell you, he got the job as far as I'm concerned.
I tell you what, that's something that we need to bring him back and have him do some of that with us, the rest of the way, because he brings so much to the table. 30 years of experience, everything that he knows, just brings so much life to this that we do. We have fun, but I'd love to have him back.
In this area, we talk about CB East, we talk about CB West, and the great football teams. And one of the teams that is left out here is one of the real solid teams in the area, Archbishop Wood. Tell me what you love in Archbishop Wood. Why don't you take over?
Thanks, Bob. Maybe our camera guy can get a shot of these guys up here in the booth. With me right now is Matt Leahy. Matt's a quarterback for Archbishop Wood. Wood's got a very important game this week against Archbishop Carroll. They're probably the favorite in the small division of the Catholic League. There you see us. You got Matt. In here is Matt Lafferty, Rich Carroll, and Joe Pacelli, a couple guys from Wood. Matt, let's just talk a little bit about your situation. You've come in a tough spot. Spinoza went down in the first game, and you've had to come in and be the leader on that offense. Why don't you talk about what that's meant to you and the team?
Well, when I first came into the running game, I was kind of shocked. So I
the team is really ready. The past 2 weeks in practice, we've come together as one unit and we played great together.
So you're coming into a tough game against Carroll. I think they scored almost 150 points, and they've only given up 12. And right now, I looked in the paper the other day, and everybody's got them picked to win across the board. What do you have to say about that?
Right now, stats really don't mean anything to us. We're taking it like we would take any other team. We're prepared and we're ready to be.
So we're going to say hi to our coaches that are they're over there.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we finish here, do you guys have anything else you want to say here?
I just want to say hi to Coach Maggs and all the other Wood coaches that are watching over on the Neshaminy sideline.
Have fun, guys.
Okay, we want to take a minute here and acknowledge this band from Neshaminy. We want to thank the boys from Archbishop Wood coming up into the booth to talk to us today. We wish them the best of luck against Carroll. We're hoping for a W. But I'm going to bring back my fellow announcer here, Bob Friedman. Fellas, thanks. As we get a chance here to listen to this great Neshaminy band. Bobby, we get a minute there. Neshaminy, always one of the better bands. We get a chance here. Some great shots of this band. The color, the pageantry that they bring to high school football is great.
Well, the pageantry of high school football is the band. Talk about the great bands. CB West has a solid band. The North Penn Marching Knights, always a solid band. Yeah, you sit there and you watch the precision. They go through as much work as any football team does in setting up their steps. And unlike a football team who just has to run and maybe carry the football, you got a guy walking along there carrying a tuba. You march in stride, all sorts of weather, rotten weather, great weather, hot weather. They've got the heavy uniforms on. Can't say enough about the band of people.
Well, I'll tell you what, we go back to the game now as West enters the half 33-7. A great job by Mike Pettin to step in and help us with the color and the play-by-play. But you know, you look at this second half, and you got to beat Neshaminy now. You're down 4 scores, and you're kicking off. And you know, what do you say to your team in the locker room at this point?
You've got to look at the positives. The positives are that they have been able to run against West. They were able to carry the ball well on the first series. They were moving again after they were stopped in the second series. They're moving again when the ball was stripped by Gavin Potter from Brittingham. So moved the ball well. But when you get down by 3 and 4 scores, you can't run the ball anymore. You've got to put the ball in the air. And I think that's their Achilles heel, because Weeder's a good quarterback, but if you've got to pass against the Bucks, you're going to run no problem. You try to throw that one ball, Ingram was right there for the interception. The Bucks have scored, and if not for that illegal block, they would have scored every time they had the ball. As it was, the illegal block negated the touchdown. And you see your halftime score at 33-7. So we are at halftime. The Neshaminy band entertaining this crowd on this beautiful evening of football. We're going to take a break and be right back. Don't you dare go away.
Psst. Hey, you kids, over here. Nobody's looking. You want to go down backwards, or better yet, head first? Kind of like you're flying.
Ah, talk about flying. I'll launch you halfway to Aunt Nelda's house.
Don't listen to those shrimps. If you got the guts, I'll show you the whole playground upside down.
Oh, he can't even move. I dare you to try and hold on to me.
Hey, kids, I got 2 words for you. Human catapult.
Oh, stop your squeaking, you rust.
You want some of this rust? Come on, I'll give you some of my rust. Come on, I got rust.
Last year, 500,000 kids were injured at playgrounds by the power of their own imaginations. Please supervise your child. For a free brochure on preventing playground injuries, call the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons toll-free or visit aaos.org.
This doesn't look fun to you. I'm having the time of my life here.
Somewhere around the world, there are men and women of the armed forces risking their lives, helping rebuild communities after natural disasters, collecting toys for needy children, tutoring kids in local schools. They were at Bunker Hill, Gettysburg, Iwo Jima, Quezon. They've been under the sea and to the moon. They stand watch in Korea. They keep drugs away from our shores. They patrol our skies every day, every year. These are your sons and daughters. You see them in church and at Little League games. But they are special because they work to keep us safe, secure, and free. Dedicated men and women who put their country first.
And we are back. Mike Mallon approaches the ball. The ball's on the ground, now picked up by the Bucks on the opening kickoff, and the Bucks will take it there at their own 25-yard line. Bob Friedman along with Tom White, John Price on the sideline. Tom, a little taste of their own medicine as they do a little directional kicking to the Redskins, and the Bucks almost kick that ball away, but they get the ball at their own 25-yard line to open the second half.
Yeah, I think the ball bounced right up into the West player after the first one missed it, and it looked like they got a break. Giacomo got it on a hop and took it up, and West is going to have 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line.
1st and 10, Mike Oriole, the quarterback. He'll pitch the ball over to Bobby Warden, wide open. He's got an opening, and he runs away from the crowd. He's got one man to beat, and that's B-Jack. B-Jack won't get him. Bobby Warden's going to go all the way for the touchdown. 75 yards. What a great run by Bobby Warden.
And he just took off, good blocking, cut back across the field, got the ball to the outside, and just outran the secondary of the Indians. And CB West, from the first play from scrimmage after the kickoff, Bobby Warden races 75 yards, and that'll make the score 39-7 with the kick to happen right here. Mr. Bross.
Extra point attempted by Bross out of Giacomo's hold. It's high, it's long, it's good. And with just 20 seconds gone in the third quarter, just like the first quarter, the excitement of it, it's 40-7, and we are almost, I said we're in Mercy, we're not yet. We're 2 points away from Mercy territory.
Right, it's got to be 35 points or more in order to have the clock run. For those people out there, that's what Bob's talking about. The Mercy rule in the PIAA takes effect at 35 plus.
Bobby Warden showed the best of both Wardens. He showed the power to break a tackle, and then he showed the speed to run away from a good runner in B-Jack, who had an angle on him, but Warden just put it into that extra gear. I'll tell you, the Bucks really look like they are loaded for bear again this year.
When we had Mike Penton on earlier, we were talking about Bobby Warden and Scotty Warden, and you had mentioned you had speed and brawn, and he said, oh no, you got speed and brawn, but the brawn comes with some speed, and we just saw it, because I thought for sure he was going to get caught from behind. Even got tripped a little bit, but he was able to keep his balance. And again, I contribute that to all that work in the weight room. These kids from West, how many times do we see that? Looks like they're going to go down or off balance a little bit, but they're always able to keep their balance and go the distance.
Spectacular run.
Does it again.
Spectacular run as Bross will line it up at the 40. He hits it. This one's going to be more of a conventional kick. It's going to go to one of the up men, taking it at the 20 to the 25, breaks it outside the 30, 35-yard line. We didn't mention this before. Tyrone Day almost carried one back last time, and that's who carried the ball there for Neshaminy, who will take over once again, just as in the first half. The Bucks score before Neshaminy can get an offensive playoff. They scored twice before the Redskins got a playoff in the first half. Now they get the 75-yard run by Bobby Warden, and it's 40-7 with 11:32 to go in this third quarter.
Bobby in now on defense as well. He's playing linebacker. Looks like they're going to give it to
it off to Brittingham. Brittingham being strung outside. Now he breaks a tackle, but the lead rush put on by Adam Scholl. And Scholl would not let him get outside. He'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. So Brittingham unable to get outside as the Bucks defense. You know, the coach Carey and his staff talked to the team at halftime about getting this kid and not letting him break through the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's the point. Brittingham got outside, but he never was able to square his shoulders to the line of scrimmage. Scholl, Franny Golden, those other linebackers on that side kept him running across the field instead of up the field, and then they allow the rest of the defense to show up and make a big play. So it's 2nd and 10. Brittingham had no gain on that play.
On 2nd and 10, backs are in the eye. And goes to Brittingham, and he breaks it this time. He'll get the first down. Camburn drives him to the ground, but Brittingham's got the first down.
Well, you got to give Neshaminy credit. They're down 33 points, but they're still playing with some life. Brittingham races upfield, gets a first down, and they've shown they could move the ball tonight. Their problem has been on the defensive side of the ball.
Ball's out just outside the 45-yard line in Neshaminy. They trail 40-7, but Brittingham has put on quite a show running thus far.
McKinstry in there, Scholl in there, Pat Jarrett in there, some of these guys in there, and also Bobby Warden playing defensive end. How do you like that? Your starting tailback is playing defensive end.
Multi-talented. 6'2", 215 pounds. He's a big, strong kid. Backs are in the eye. On first down, it goes to Brittingham. Breaks the tackle, cuts to the outside. He's got 3, he's got 4, he maybe has 5 before he's gang tackled by the Mighty Bucks.
Adam Scholl having a big night. Franny Golden also in there with Camburn. But not after Brittingham knocks off another 6 yards. And again, you got to give credit to the Redskins. They're not quitting despite the score.
Gain of 5 on the play, make it 2nd down and 5. Ball right at midfield. 9.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Central Bucks West out to a 40-7 lead over Neshaminy. Although I'll tell you, it's not the runaway people would think. Neshaminy's played pretty well thus far. It's hard to say when you're down by 33 points, but the Bucks have just been running on all cylinders. Backs in the eye on 2nd and 5. It goes to, not to Brittingham this time, Tyrone Day. We're going to have a late flag, and I wonder if we have a face mask here.
Yeah, that's where it looked like it, because it was right around the tackle. A lot of times you'll get that incidental grab of the mask. Let's see what they call.
Well, I'll tell you what else. There was a block. It might have been a block in the back, too, because it looked like one of the, let's see what we've got here. It is a mask. It's a mask against West, so that's going to cost him 15. It's going to take him down inside the 35-yard line of CB West.
First down, right? Yeah. Personal foul.
Let's take a look at it. Let's see if we can catch it right at the, yeah, there's the mask.
Yeah, you saw it as he was coming through the line. It was just a grab, got him on the face. Day does, there it is. You can see a great replay and reverse replay to catch that. Great job, guys, in the truck. That's great. And Day does a great job to keep his head and his feet and get extra yards. Nonetheless, they get a first down off the penalty, and the Redskins got a nice little drive going.
On 1st and 10. Now, Day is in the backfield. Brittingham is out of the game right now, Tom. Day goes in motion. And Weeder with a short handoff, and going absolutely nowhere on the play was Jeff Donahue.
They have Varillo in there, also on the tackle, Jim Fagnani. Fagnani, nice job from his linebacker spot. Lots of guys, lots of penetration. Collins actually a loss of 2 on that play.
Tell us a little bit about Varillo. We were talking about him briefly.
Well, I think he was scheduled or on the roster as a senior last year. And when he went back and looked in his transcripts and those type documents, I think he transferred a couple times. He found out that he really had another year of eligibility. I don't know all the facts, but I know for a fact that he was listed as a senior last year, and he's back playing again this year as a senior. So he had another year of high school eligibility, and he's playing again for West. And he's a big part of this because he brings leadership from that championship team, as does the Giacomo and Camburn. But he's a guy that anchors that defensive line. He's also playing tight end on the offensive side, doing a great job.
This is a senior-dominated team for CB West, of course. A lot of veteran leadership, starting with Oriel, DiGiacomo, Camburn, that whole crew. On 2nd down and 12, as he lost 2 on that carry, back to pass goes Weeder. And again, dangerous throw through a lot of hands.
Yeah, I think that ball got tipped again, that defensive line. And you know what? We always talk about why West is so successful. They do all the little things well. There, as the pass travels across the defensive line, all it takes is just the discipline to know to get your hands up and hopefully get a piece of the ball. It happens again there. We've seen it 2 or 3 times tonight.
The other thing I noticed Weeder do on the last 2 passes like that, instead of zipping the ball in, let's see if you see, he kind of just puts that ball up of the touch pass. And you can't really do that. You've got to zip the ball in there. You see it come in here.
Right here, you're going to see the one
Pat.
hand in there just deflected enough to change the flight of the ball and make it tough for the receiver to catch it.
Obviously, Brittingham back in the game now, as he was the one who was intended receiver on the pass. On 3rd down and 12. Back to pass, rolling out under a rush, throws the ball, and I'd see if they're going to have a flag. And no, they're just incidental contact. There was a lot of contact downfield as
Tom McKinstry from his DN spot does a good job, good pressure on a quarterback, and delivers the blow as he's throwing. Really made the quarterback come up short on the toss. And he's an interesting kid, basketball player. I know his dad played football at West back when I did. It was a long time ago. Me at East, him at West, and we've been friends a long time. His son, basketball player, came back as a senior to play football, and I've heard nothing but great things about it tonight. He's had a big game, catching balls and making plays on defense. Great job, Tommy.
So on 4th down, they will go for it as they are in 4-down territory. Backs are in the eye. Back to pass, deep handoff to Brittingham. He's going to have the first down and then some, as Camburn has to drag him down from behind all the way into the 15-yard line. A great call by Coach Smith.
Great call, and I'll tell you, Brittingham, I really like this kid. Coach Pettin talked about it before the half when he was on with us. He said, here's a 180-pound back that runs like he's 225 pounds. There you see, he's picking himself up, he's fixing his pads, but we're going to get a shot of this replay. Watch how quick he gets off the ball. Good blocks by the offensive line, and good vision here. He puts the ball in the outside hand, and he's going to cut upfield and then break back against the grain and just almost goes the distance here, Bob.
If his shirt's tucked in, he goes the distance, because that's how Camburn got him.
That's right there. You see there, that's Camburn grabs his shirt. He doesn't get a piece of that. He's in.
1st and 10, ball at the 14-yard line. Handoff goes to Donahue. Donahue drives to the 12 before a host of black shirts get him and drive him well back to the 25-yard line. But I like the formation. They showed a pass formation. They spread the defense out.
And it was 4th and 14.
Right, he goes back, straight back, he's going to pass, tucks the ball nicely into Brittingham's arms, and you knew from the way the defense was coming up, all Brittingham had to do was stay on his feet and get the first down, but he got much, much more than that. And as I say, if he has his shirt tucked in, or if he uses the old SEC shirts, the breakaway shirts that Alabama used to use, he's got a touchdown, because that's the only way that Camburn held on to him.
That'll be in the budget next year, Bob.
They got that right. At any rate, 2nd down and about 7 after the 3-yard gain by Donahue. Backs are in the eye behind Weeder. Now into motion goes Brittingham. Back to pass. He's going to try the fade downfield. It's going to be tipped away beautifully. Zach Ingram on a great tip play there. Knocks the ball away, and it was a well-delivered pass intended for Kevin Maloney, but Zach Ingram steps up and makes a great play.
Zach does a great job. Gets deep as long as quarterback has the ball. Fade pattern is probably one of the toughest for a defensive back to cover, because you don't see the ball until the very last second. There he gets up. He's able to get a hand on the ball and knock it away. He's had a big night in the secondary. He's got an interception and also an offensive catch for a big, long touchdown early in the first half.
Mom, who's
so
sitting
Zach
in front
Ingram
of us,
having a
is
big
very
night.
proud of her son. On 3rd down, deep handoff goes to Brittingham. He cuts to the left side, breaks a tackle, breaks 2 tackles to the 1-yard line. Oh, what a great run. Camburn finally straightened him up and brought him down. But I'll tell you what, Brittingham just with a super run, and it's a first.
I'll tell you,
goal.
he has not quit. And here it is. Just watch the effort as you see him kind of limp back into the huddle. Right here, breaks to the outside. He's got lots of energy. He's going to come up here. He's going to challenge that D-back, a little stiff arm there. And there, shoulder, he almost breaks the tackle as Camburn comes in, lifts, and takes him to the ground. But I'll tell you, down 40-7, this guy's playing like it's a 7-7 football game.
1st and goal, ball just outside the 1-yard line. Backs are in the eye. Handoff goes to Brittingham, and he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
Adam Scholl from his linebacker spot. He's been tough all night. He's been all over the field from tackle to tackle, making plays. And there on Second and goal, Adam Scholl comes up, great penetration, sticks him, and the thing is he doesn't let him fall forward. He keeps those legs coming.
sells out from his D-back spot to make sure he didn't get outside. I like a little play action here. I think that they've shown enough of Brittingham to put it in his stomach, roll right. I think he goes untouched into the end zone if they do that. But I think you want to give the big man the ball. He's brought him there thus far. And he is lined up at tailback position on second and goal. It goes to Brittingham around the right side. He's strung out and Phil DiGiacomo has him. Back at the 5-yard line. DiGiacomo comes up from his D-back spot.
They always teach you to keep your outside shoulder and outside foot free, so as the guy comes up, you can keep that free, keep backs and linemen off you as you come up to try to force the play. Phil just stays wide, forces it wide, and Brittingham just comes to him, and he makes the tackle and gets joined by the rest of those guys, Golden and the rest of the West team there. I'll tell you, they're stiffening up here in third and goal. I'm going to find it hard for Neshaminy to find an easy way into the end zone right now. I think this West defense is showing their pride right now.
Third and goal. Backs are in the eye again behind Weeder. Long count. Weeder back to pass. Throws it. Short pass. Going to be a touchdown. I do believe it is a touchdown. Pass goes to Donahue, and he'll take it into the end zone, and it's 40-13 with 4:03 to go in the third quarter. Good call.
Donahue runs a nice pattern. He gets into the end zone, Bob, and he makes a very good cut, and he's a yard inside the end zone and just has enough of an angle that the quarterback Wader makes a nice pass. Sharp pass is very hard to defend. He takes it and gets himself into the end zone for a touchdown.
Malin for the extra point. Out of Weeder's hold. The snap is good, the kick is high, and the kick is good. Let's take a look at the pass play. A well-devised play off of play action. As the kick is good. Here you'll see him throw it. All Donahue had to do was hold on the ball. He was wide open out in the flat coming out of his backfield spot. And it's 40-14 with 4:03 to go in the third quarter. Tom, Neshaminy down by 26 points, but they played better than that.
Well, you know what? There's a pride factor here. Let's say they don't score here. West comes down and scores, and then all of a sudden in the third quarter with about 4 minutes to go, that mercy rule takes effect. You as a team and players, you say, hey, I don't want to be in a game where the mercy rule takes effect. So there's a little pride. They get a touchdown. Now it's a 26-point lead. Okay, big deal, Tom. But you know what? It is a big deal. It shows the character of that team. They didn't quit, and they came down and put 7 points on the board against a tough West defense.
Well, I tell you, I'm impressed with them. You look at some of the plays. They've lost 3 fumbles tonight. They've had 1 ball intercepted. The first 2 kickoffs were both fumbled, and that set the tone for the whole game. You just can't go down 14 points to Central Bucks West, and they did with less than 4 minutes gone into the game. To their credit, they come back and they score, but they just couldn't move the ball enough after that. The fumble by Brittingham, the intercepted pass that led to another touchdown by West, and West has just been unstoppable offensively.
Yeah, you can't come into Doylestown and spot West 14 points on the first 2 kickoffs, which is what Neshaminy did. But again, I've said it all night, I give them a lot of credit. They haven't quit.
Low kickoff, it'll be handled by Camburn at about his 20-yard line. Breaks behind the stack, and he'll take it out and carry it well. Oh, look at that. All the way out to the 40-yard line.
Mr. Excitement.
Mr. Excitement himself is there.
You got to love Dave Camburn, Bob. We've watched him since he was a sophomore. You know, you go back to that Abington Heights game when he returned that ball for a touchdown, one of the greatest plays in CB West history. And then last year he had giant games and playoffs with big play after big play. And he's just so hard to tackle. He almost denies you. I'm going to deny you to take me down. And there it is again on there. It looked like he was going to be tackled 10 yards ago and is able to claw an extra 10 yards out of it.
That's
just
what
a
Coach
great
Benton
character.
was just saying, 12 yards from the point he was hit, he just carries the ball. That's why he is Mr. Excitement. Handoff, quick, no, it's going to be a pass. Boy, Earl got him wide open. Oh, and just unable to get up to the ball was James West. A great play-action play. West sold himself out, got all as far out as he could, but the pass was just a little bit too long. That's a ball you'd like to see him put just a little more air underneath.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they've run that all night, and it's been a different guy deep every time. Ingram got it the one time. and it was a touchdown. But it's been DiGiacomo, it's been Bobby Warden, there it's James West. They have so many weapons, it's not like you can key on one guy. That could be any one of 6 guys running that pattern.
Absolutely. So on 2nd and 10 after the pass just fell a little bit too long. Oriole. Handoff goes to Warden. He breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles, breaks a 3rd tackle. That's a first down in the Neshaminy territory. Bobby Warden would not be brought down until he moved those sticks to get a fresh 4.
Bobby Warden, the boy wonder, the kid that's really worked hard in the weight room. We know some of the history of what happened to him last year in that Erie Cathedral prep game. Pachotti goes down, Camburn goes down, and guess what? Bobby Warden, you're playing halfback in probably the biggest game of your life and did a great job, earned himself an opportunity to be the starting back this year. He didn't come in, I don't think, penciled in as the guy, and he's worked hard in the weight room, and he's just, every game he gets better and better. The boy wonder, Bobby Warden.
Rolling to the right, Oriole. He's going to tuck it under and run. He's got a lot of room to the 30. Cuts it outside, brought down to the 27-yard line as Mike Oriole showed past and tucked it under, saw he had the room to run, and he did what he had to do. That's a big gain on the play down to the 27.
And you know what? As Mike Oriole finishes out his senior year, you know, his ability and his improvement in his ability to run the football is going to help him as he moves on into a college career. But
well,
here great ball fake, which freezes the defense. Good block up front, another good block there, and he tucks it away, ball in the outside hand, and he's just running tough here and gets it upfield. Great run, Mike Oriole.
So 1st and 10, the ball at the 27-yard line. Oriole hands it off. Carrying the ball is DiGiacomo. He'll get it down to about the 21-yard line. Gain of about 6, and they just are unstoppable right now. You know, before we go on, we haven't talked since last year's state championship game, and I have just 2 words for you. And those words are Andrew Elsing.
Andrew Elsing out at Rhode Island now, enjoying himself out there.
He kind of helped out in the Big 33 game, too.
Yeah, that's what Coach said. He said he kind of helped out in the Big 33 game as well.
I heard he was the only one that knew the plays, Coach.
Pardon?
I heard he was the only one that knew the plays.
This is true. I converted him to a wingback in the middle of the week.
You would have had him play in 2 positions.
In the state title game at the one time. Where he was our savior was on defense with his speed.
Absolutely. The block punt will be remembered for a long time. But here comes Camburn cutting inside, and he cuts into the 5, the 3,
He'll
touchdown! Oh, Mr. Excitement strikes again.
Dave Camburn is not Camburn, it's Ingram. If it's not Ingram, it's West. If it's not West, it's DiGiacomo. They just have so many weapons, Oriole included, and then you add that offensive line. Coach Pettin was saying earlier, not the biggest line we've ever had, but one of the strongest. If you talk to Coach Hallman, and DiGiacomo a hold for Gross, and West looking to put up the 47th point.
And the coach is smiling. He's standing here smiling with a 47-14 lead with 2:05 to go. He's watching some of these kids play some great football. I'll tell you what, I kiddingly call him that, but Dave Camburn is exciting to watch. He is terrific.
I hope there's a smart college out there that wants to look at him as a Division I or 1AA scholarship player, because he can do so many things. I mean, if you watch his highlight film, which he's put together to send off to colleges.
Now let's take a look at this, Coach. You got the replay coming here. Watch him come running out.
This is really spectacular, but it's typical of the way he runs and his field vision.
You see him
and
cut in
his
here?
Strength.
That's
right. I guess that's his rugby toughness, right?
Carries him in the end zone. Gets a little face mask there, but carries him and just drives it into the end zone. Right. He can kill you so many ways.
And he's a great kid. On top of it, he's very humble, and he never complains like, you know, Coach, give me the ball more, which, you know, when you look back, we probably should give him the ball more.
You got a lot of weapons out there.
Right, and that's the beauty of having a West offense like this, so you can spread it around. You go back to some of the teams we've had in the past, this is the ideal situation where they can't come in and say, hey, we're going to take away the fullback, the quarterback, because you take away somebody and you're going to get killed with 3 or 4 other weapons.
Reminds me a lot of the team you had when Corey was quarterback. You had so many weapons to go to off that. Corey with a great running ability, and Scotty Warden and that Dave Armstrong, that whole crew.
You know, Actually, I can go back to the '91 team where we had a lot of weapons. We had a great passing game, and I think we went into the state playoffs with our leading rusher only having 450 yards. And somebody commented, well, they can't be too good. They don't have a standout 1,000-yard rusher. But the beauty of our offense was its diversity and balance. And the fact that you couldn't key on any one person.
Was that the team with one of the Moylans at quarterback? I'm trying to remember who's quarterback.
Greg Moylan.
Greg, okay.
Sonsini was on that team. Chris Cleveland was a heck of a running back. You know, also that year was a defense a lot like this year. They weren't real big, but they were super quick. I think the biggest D lineman was about 215 pounds. Now, you got Verillo on this defense, but other than that, they don't have the great size, but they got quickness. This is a very fast defense.
You can see that, and they're playing good, precise football. A couple of penalties that are not the best to see, but I'll tell you, really solid as the handoff goes to Brittingham, and this kid's still running hard, Coach. He is just
He's
terrific.
going to get some yardage now because they're more or less in a prevent mode. They're trying to keep the home run, the pass off the board. So when you do that, you kind of give some lanes for the draw play and the quick traps. And sometimes it's deceiving. A runner can get some mop-up yardage and look real impressive. But that being said, I take my hat off to this kid Brittingham because early in the game when everything was on the line and they were trying to defense him, he got his yardage. You know, he's only a junior. He's going to be heard from. I'm sure the West players are going to go up after the game with a lot of respect to shake his hand.
I've always wanted to ask this question as long as he's here. From a coach's perspective, your scouting report on Tommy White as a player.
My memory doesn't go back that far, but his buddies tell me he was underrated.
You're a real gentleman, Mike. Thank you.
I've been dying to do that. So right now we have 1:44 to go in the third quarter. The Bucks up 47-14, and right now you just want to keep your team healthy at this point. You got a 33-point lead. You don't want to get anybody hurt.
I don't think you'll see any of the starters once we hit the fourth quarter. What you want to do here, one of the problems you have when you have an explosive team like this is that sometimes your team is only playing a half a couple of weeks in a row, and then all of a sudden you get into a game, you go down to the wire, and you don't have them gain condition for 4 quarters. So I'm sure some of the people, you know, they're always scrutinizing, well, how soon do you take out the first team? But, you know, you got to appreciate what the coach is thinking. He's got to get this team ready for invariably a close game that will happen eventually. You know, you're going to get into the caliber of teams we're going to play. But at the same time, you know, we've always, I think, done a good job of clearing the bench and getting all these young kids, and that's why when they come up, they're used to the crowd, the pressure, because they got into these games that are, you know, comfortable leads, and they got a lot of playing time.
So the carry on first down goes to Tyrone Day, and he'll be stopped in the backfield as we're inside 1.5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
And then the other danger you have is, you know, when you have a full quarter, you always have to watch that you get a couple quick scores and you put the young kids in too soon, and then you have to go back to your starters who are cooled down and bring them back, and that's a situation you want to avoid. So it's always a tough call as to when is the right time to start bringing you know, the younger kids in. But first and foremost, you know, you got to look at your key players, and especially the two-way guys, and get them out of the game first.
Mike, who do you see as some of the stronger teams in the area? We talked about St. Joe's Prep outside of the Power 10, but outside of the Power 10 in the district, who do you see, and what are some of the coaches talking about at this point?
Well, pass completed, beautiful pass, throwing to number 85. Let me get his number a second. Pete Markman on the catch.
I'm hearing Downingtown's very strong, Coatesville's strong. They got upset by Lancaster McCaskey. Interborough.
Are they eligible to play in the district final?
They've committed to play this year, so I think they're pretty good. You know, PW is always scrappy. You know, you look at our history, and I think Coach Accavetti will get them stronger. They're a little bit young, but you know, rebounding from last year, which was a down year for them. Hey, Penridge, if they qualify, they get those explosive backs. So District 1, again,
There's a long pass again. Oh, and a great reception by the receiver. That's number 2, Shane O'Hara, as he came back for an underthrown ball, makes the play, and they're down deep again in Buck territory.
6 seconds to go in this quarter.
No, this is the concern here. If they score 47-21, you know, I'll have to take back what I said about the young troops going in the beginning of the fourth quarter.
And we have come to the end of the third quarter. The Bucks with a 47-14 lead, but Neshaminy on the doorstep again. We're going to take a break. Be back for the final 12 minutes. Don't go away.
It's not just what I get to be. It's not just who I get to meet or where I get to go. Just forget about being sick. Remembering how to be a kid, that anything is possible. Leaving worry on the doorstep. Making plans for the future. I'm still making plans for the future.
It is more than a trial by fire. It is a rite of passage, a challenge to join the elite. And if you succeed, if you can master your fear, outsmart your enemy, and never yield even to yourself, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Edgar Degas had eye problems most of his life. Claude Monet had cataracts, yet he continued to paint. And even after Georgia O'Keeffe's vision was permanently impaired, she went on to create masterpieces. These artists did not give up because they had trouble seeing. They just made the best of what vision they had. So can you. Call for a free booklet that will show you how. 1-877-569-8474.
And we are back at War Memorial Field. John Price, you got something going down there.
First half, 11 out of 15 for 216 yards and 3 touchdown scores. Also, I didn't fall into a hole down here. I'm mesmerized by Coach Pettin's call of the game. Back to you guys.
And we are back as on fourth, and the ball carried by Tyrone Day, and he will lose some yardage. Bob Friedman along Tom White. Mike Pettin Sr. also in the booth with us tonight. John Price down on the sideline. Mike, you mentioned between quarters, this is a lot of fun to do.
Well, it is. As I said before, it's a lot less pressure. You don't have to worry about making any bad calls.
But do you
of course,
find
you have to worry about putting your foot in your mouth, though.
Believe me, I've done that plenty enough times. Do you find yourself calling some plays in your mind up here? Do you see yourself saying, well, maybe I might run this play or that
it's
play?
only natural. I'm sure anybody who's played any football in the stands will do that, and certainly as a coach, you're always looking at the game like, okay, what would I call here, and what's the best situation to get into?
Hand off to Tyrone Day. He'll carry it down to about the 2-yard line.
Uh-oh, somebody's neck.
And that's what he always worry about here. You see getting up slowly.
I think
it's Tommy McKinstry. Looks like he got a little stinger in his shoulder. I think he'll manage to stay in the game with that.
So the ball resting up against the goal line on 3rd and goal. Bucks will try and stiffen up here as we're into the 4th quarter. CB West with a 47-14 lead. And the handoff goes to Donahue, and he'll score his 2nd touchdown of the game. And again, you're still within that mercy rule limit. It's 47-20.
And Brittingham wasn't in there those last couple of carries there. I don't know if he's injured or taking a rest.
I got to tell you, Coach, I think he's just beat. He really, you're standing there, he's got his hands on his hips, and, he's bending over. It's a sign of a guy who really's had a long
no
night.
Question. you know, you have to be concerned when you rely on somebody that much. Is he going to hold up in a league like this, which is so physical, where you're going to take that pounding, where teams are going to be king on you every week, and
it doesn't get any easier for them next week because they take on North Penn.
Right, North Penn is pretty big and physical, and he's such a hard runner that, you know, there's such high velocity collisions out there just about every time he carries the ball.
We talk about that. I want to bring a point up. Of course, you saw it in the Penn State game. Adam Talaferro, great kid from Eastern. And you take your chances every time you go on a football field. But as a coach, your heart has got to go out to the kid. The kid is just trying to make a play there.
As great as coaching is, and you love the game, you know, anytime you have an injury like that, especially if it hits home on your team, it just puts everything in perspective, and it makes you even reflect on, you know, the game. But, you know, life is full of hazards, and, you know, my son played, and you care about all the kids you coach, and, you know, you're in more danger when you get in the car and go down the street a couple blocks.
Absolutely.
But obviously, you know, anytime it happens, you ask yourself, you know, what could you do to make the game safer? And a lot of progress has been made. Now, I didn't see the play. I haven't even seen a replay, but I understand it was a classic worst-case scenario, lead with the top of your head, hit against a big player, and, you know, you try to avoid that type of tackle. And you see him sometimes, and you hold your breath when the guy gets up, or sometimes he doesn't get up, and in this case, unfortunately, it was the worst-case scenario.
And our hearts and our thoughts go out to the Talaferro family and, of course, the Penn State family. Right. I don't think I've ever seen Joe that upset in my life.
Yeah, it's the worst situation he's ever had, and, you know, on top of everything else that has gone wrong. But as Joe said, you know, with all our other problems, when something like this happens, you know, the more important things are put in the proper light and perspective.
Back to this game, though. Dave Camburn breaking through. Oh, look at that! Oh, and he breaks to the inside and almost carried it all the way. Mr. Excitement striking one more time. And then you look at the downside of the injuries, and then you look at a kid like Camburn, and you watch the game, and you say, this is why the game's played. Yeah, everybody takes a chance when they go out to play any kind of sport. But it's so exciting. When it's done right, it's just a beautiful thing to watch. Camburn saw the opening, picked it, and went right up the middle.
Why do you want to kick to that guy? I want to kick to him. You're taking your chances.
It's an interesting defense they had there. They only had Camburn back by himself, had about 20 yards between them, and they kicked the ball right to him. You would think that they would have put an angle kick of some type on, because there was nobody on either side. Not to second guess.
Well, high school kickers is tough. Here we got.
Oh, he's got a man wide open downfield if he can get it to him, but knocked away at the last minute. As wide open on the play was Franny Golden, but I don't think Mike quite saw him. He was rolling to his left.
Well, what happened is it's a drop back. It's a play action drop back, but he got flushed out of the pocket and was forced to go to the left. Actually, it was a very athletic play for him to stop and see that he had him open and try to get him, but it was throwing entirely across the field. By that time, the D-back recovered and got there and just knocked it down. But the ball still was thrown pretty well.
Absolutely. Tommy White, I'll tell you what, watching the Bucs team, everything seems to be open for them right now, Tom.
Well, I'll tell you what, Orioles had a great night. He's really looked very comfortable in the pocket. His receiver's been catching the ball a la right there. Potter is going to get another first down. And Neshaminy just has not been able to figure out this West offense all night.
And that's a tough throw. That sideline throw takes a big arm. Let's take a look at it again. Camburn open for the first down. But, Mike, that is a tough throw, coming off your right side and throwing to that sideline. As we see him here.
Rolling out again. Our guys work a lot on this, sprint out. Actually, I found in the Big 33 game, we had these, all-state quarterbacks. I just assume it would be very easy for them to roll out, but they hadn't worked in the sprint out offense. It was very difficult for them.
As Camburn gets the ball, he's not brought down. Oh my goodness, he breaks the tackle, takes it down to the 21-yard line.
The point I wanted to make is it hasn't come easy for Mike. I mean, he's had to work hard and drill and get that technique down. And throwing on the run isn't very easy, but he's making it look easy.
Well, we've watched him since he's been a sophomore when he started playing. As we'll take a look at the replay of Camburn's great run here. He won't be stopped. There he goes.
Straight arm. I love the straight arm. Always trying to get our guys a straight arm, and it was a fantastic straight arm.
Tommy, wait, do you remember when Mike Oriole played his first game and we sat there, we looked at this young sophomore, and we wondered, you know, he wasn't a big kid as the handoff goes to Giacomo. He breaks the tackle, ball, it's fumbled, but it's going to be picked up by one of the offensive linemen.
You know, it's not your night when things happen like that. If
my.
ball pops free and it rolls upfield 10 yards, and one of your linemen fall on it.
And a smart play by the lineman. Tommy, maybe we can get the name, but let's take a look at it, because it'd be easy to try and pick that ball and run up and run.
You know, so many times you see linemen try to become running backs, try to scoop the ball up, and instead of getting you know, a key recovery, they give it away.
Now, see the strip here.
Well, there's an example that his second effort actually was a partial cause of the fumble. And that's the one thing. You love your kids to have second effort, but you always have to protect the ball, because a lot of times as you're churning for that extra yardage, you kind of leave that ball out a little bit, and somebody else is coming up to hit you from another direction. But I thought it was a great move by Giacomo. He broke a couple tackles there when he was hitting the line of scrimmage.
Well, I'll tell you, who the kudos, was that number 76?
That was Justin Otten. He was able to fall on that fumble. But
Justin Otten made the play.
You were saying about Oriole, Mike, we were talking earlier about how he came in, he was real skinny, and I think he's really worked hard to get extra weight on and even work on his game, and it shows.
He's always been very conscious of his weight. He's the kind of kid that's going to fill out. He'll be maybe 230,
his
maybe
brothers
240
are big.
one of these days. His brothers are very big.
Yeah.
But, you know, Mike was always concerned when they put him on the scale. A couple times we caught him slipping a 10-pound weight down his shorts.
Drinking a lot of water before he got on there, right?
You always had to have the scales readjusted after he was done with it.
John Price, you down on the field, what you got?
Yeah, I am. Coach Mark Schmidt earlier, when I talked to him, said that, you know, he's had 6 years to prepare for this Central Bucks West team since he's been a head coach at Neshaminy. It doesn't get any easier. He still puts in the same amount of film time. He said a lot of people look at this offense and think that it's rather basic. He said that is far from the truth. Looks like they still have their hands full trying to figure it out back up top.
And we have a thanks, John. There's a flag call for delay of game. Here we go again. The carry is taken. Oh, and slipping down as he was going around the end was, looks like Joseph DiGiacomo in the game now.
Joe in there at quarterback. Again, those bloodlines, Coach. We were talking about it earlier, how you've had so many brothers over the years play for you. That's had to be a great thing for you, the carries and the Giacomos.
There's no question, you know, the brother tradition, and I noticed Lenny Ventresca sitting out front. That's certainly one of them, and the whole Ventresca clan, and there have been so many over the years. And
the Baggetts.
Yep.
And it's nice when those young kids come up and they know with their brothers, you know, the commitment, the sacrifice, and what's expected.
So that's the second question you have for them when you meet them, right? Do you have any brothers?
Well, it's tough, though, because coaches have a problem of always comparing. You know, say your older brother would never do anything like that, so sometimes it's a little disadvantage.
There's some things that come with the territory, right?
And then you got the Carbers. One played for North Penn, one played for CB West, and the other one was playing for, I'm not sure who.
Oh, is the other one playing for North Penn? But
I think so.
We're glad we got Ben.
Ben was a great player.
Here he's running second team at the University of Virginia, and they think a lot of him, and so hopefully he'll be seeing a lot of action.
Now, the situation here is that it's third down and about 14. We have 8:17 to go in the fourth quarter. 47-21 the Bucks with Lee Joe DiGiacomo is in a quarterback. He'll pitch it wide to James West. Cuts it around the outside, cuts it back in. Great run to the 5. He's in! James West, and another new weapon for CB West. James West. Coach, tell us a little bit about him. He's got some speed on him.
Well, you know, as a 10th grader, he played in some key moments last year. I mean,
he played defensive end for you.
Guys got injured. He went in there, and now to show his toughness, he's playing in some defensive end. He's playing outside linebacker. Normally he would be starting, but it's just a year that West has all this talent in the backfield, but you could probably put him as a starting running back and you wouldn't miss much. He's another weapon. you know, and Coach Carey's problem is how do you get the ball to keep all these guys happy?
Right.
Because you would like to see all of them. That was exciting, and hey, give him the ball 15, 20 times. But of course, what happens with the other guys? So again, he's going to have to wait his turn. He's going to play a lot of defense this year, help out offensively, but next year he'll be one of the key running backs in District 1.
Absolutely. Now take a look at West's touchdown run here. He does a great job of cutting back here, Coach.
Again, the work in the weight room. You know, if you look at all the tackles the West kids are breaking, and you know, that just doesn't come by chance. I mean, these kids have spent hours in the weight room working on the legs. So, and that gives them the confidence when they have that strength.
You know, I meant to ask you, in the playoffs last year, in the semifinal game, did you ever see a kid better than that linebacker who played against you in the semis? I can't think of the kid's name right now, but
for Becca.
Yeah, the middle linebacker.
I know number 46. I can't think of his name either.
Unfortunately for him, he wasn't highly recruited. You know, he was one of these kids, a great high school player who had great performances because he was tough and had a lot of heart. But when the colleges looked at him, they felt he wasn't tall enough, he wasn't fast enough. So basically, he ended up getting, you know, Lafayette, Lehigh, which aren't bad schools, but you would have thought that you know, the Division I guys would have come knocking at the door.
He had a great game against you. He really put on a solid performance. Tommy and I were talking about that, and just what a nice job he did there.
Yeah, we ran into some linebackers in the Erie Cathedral Prep.
Yes.
And that guy's huge. I mean, he's 6'5", 240 now. He is being recruited Division I. We sold him a little short. We didn't think he covered sideline to sideline, wasn't that fast. He had a fantastic game against us, and evidently is tearing up this year. He's one of their, you know, 4 or 5 guys that are key returning players.
As on the kickoff, the ball returned up to the 35-yard line. 8:01 to go in regulation, 54-21.
Now you're seeing just none of the starters, the young kids are going in. I mean, these are the same kids that are going to be playing JV ball on Monday. But it's great here. You know, this doesn't equate to JV football. They got the crowd here. They're under a little pressure. They're playing against better competition. So this pays dividends for these young kids when they're the starters. They're getting introduced in the starting lineup. And it's really been a help to have our first team, you know, get a little lead and get these young kids in there.
Absolutely. Weeder's still in quarterback and Brittingham still in at running back. I don't know that I necessarily would agree with that, Coach. You're down by 33 points. You want to keep your team healthy. You got a tough game next week, but here's Brittingham, and he's got a bunch of kids who are trying to prove themselves.
The thing that amazed me over the years is that the coach that has the lead is always scrutinized as to when he puts his second or third team in. But on the other side of the coin, a lot of times the coach who's behind, he continues to play his starters when they're totally out of the game. Not that the coach is doing anything wrong at this point. All I'm saying is that, you know, there comes a time, and we've been in the situation where you say, okay, the game's lost. Let's get our young guys in the football game.
And some of the young guys in there. Sean Burke makes a big tackle. Wibberly in there now. Derek Kinzel in the game for West. Just trying to get some of these guys recognized here.
Oh, nice pass. Nice pass.
Now, looking at Neshaminy's standpoint, they may feel, hey, they want to work on their quarterback getting a little sharper. They want to get a little more confidence in their offense. It's 54-21. If they can score 1 or 2 more, it looks a lot more respectable, and they can go home with their heads high. And
yeah, but on my side of it, Coach, you look at a kid like Brittingham, who's really one of their major thrusts of their offense. He's tired, and he's up against a bunch of fresh kids who are trying to hit.
That's the trade-off. I mean, that's you know, in trying to do those things I just mentioned, the trade-off is you might jeopardize one of your starters in getting hurt.
That's my concern about that. But he's still in the game, as is Weeder, a quarterback, and Donahue, the up back, on 3rd down and 12. And the handoff goes to Brittingham. He breaks it to the outside. He's got 5. He's got 7, and he'll be short of the first down, brought down on a play. He'll be about 4 yards, and I'm sure they're in 4-down territory here. They'll go for it here on 4th down. I've only seen 1 punt this game, as a matter of fact.
If you're a punter, I don't know if that's good or bad.
No, it's not good. Well, as an offensive coach, you kind of like that, but
yeah, you always like those games where you can think after the game, well, gee, we didn't even have to punt one time.
well, it showed the offense just was unstoppable tonight, Coach. And you think about the touchdown that was called back.
Right. Well, you know, as good as they look from the coaching standpoint, I can tell you that the coaches are going to say, well, that's great. The offense did this and that, but you know, defensively, we have to work on some things.
Counter play today, and he gets a big yardage, but then pays for it at the end of the run. Tommy, did you get the number of the tackler on that?
Well, it looked like number 42 on the tackle there for CBUS. That's Pete Hamill.
Extracurricular activity. I don't know which team it's going to go on, but there was some pushing and shoving 20 yards behind the play.
Let's see what we've got here.
Well, Sean Burke is going to come out. He was in a confrontation with the lineman from Neshaminy, number 77. That was Steve Brett.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the other team. I think the two guys have been thrown out.
It looks like a pro game.
You ever find out, you ever get in one of those games where it's like a flag festival and you really get tired of seeing the officials just throwing flag after flag? You almost wonder if they're in it for, you know, they get.
Right, that's why.
Not in this game. I mean, you know.
You know, some of the crews you get to know, and they've been around for a while, and you know they played the game, and they tend to let the little things go. Because, you know, you've heard if you watch close enough, you can throw a flag on every play.
Right.
So, you know, if it gives one team an advantage with a hold or something blatant, you call it. But it's really a common sense type of thing.
Absolutely.
Now, sometimes, you know, it's tough on the officials because they'll just get teams that are having a sloppy night. You know, when it's pretty obvious you're lining up off sides, illegal motion, and the flags are flying every other play, and they're obvious, you have to call them. But what you have to wonder sometimes is those mystery calls where you can't see anything, and it's one thing after another. Like, I understand there were a few of them down in Titusville.
Gee, I wonder why. Ball now inside Buck territory at the 43-yard line. And a flag down on the play. Long pass going to go incomplete. Now, there's a flag down from the side, Judge, so I'm wondering if there was possibly some movement or defensive offside. It happened. It was thrown right at the snap, so it's got to be some kind of movement.
I didn't see it. I was talking about officiating, and the ex-official threw a flag at me here.
Okay, give me Captain Chuck, okay?
Now they got these rabbit ears. These
Procedure on the offense, 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Walt Smirkanic has been a fixture at West for years and years, and he and Coach Benton were just having a little bit of a back and forth. Walt being a former official, a legendary official, as a matter of fact.
Some of the other kids in the game now, Bob. Mark Magnus in there. He's running the defense for Mike. Marat Madava in there also. Number 14 in there. Jim Wibberly. Just some of these younger kids. Number 30 in the game. Doug Neese in there now for CB West. Coach some of the future stars of West getting their chance to play now.
Yeah, it's great to see the young kids out there. I mean, the most satisfying night as a coach, your team plays well, and you go in after the game and say, and every kid addressed got in the game.
It looks that way right now. Now, back to pass. No, it's a handoff to Day, who's in the game. Day's done some nice running, too. He's got some good power running. They got a couple of nice young running backs there.
Neshaminy, you know, they've always had good talent, and they're well drilled. Mark Schmidt does a nice job.
A lot of fresh.
John Chomp, their defensive coordinator, brother of George, who's head coach at Central Dauphin. You know, they know what they're doing. They're just, you know, outclassed tonight. But I think they'll go away. That they've seen some good things and they can build on. And you know, North Penn coming in next week better not take them lightly. Just looking at the score, because you know, on a given night, Neshaminy can play with anybody. I think, you know, early getting behind with those two bad kick receptions. I'm not saying that would have made the game different, but it certainly could have been a lot closer.
It's tough to fall 14 down against Bucks at the
home field. That's a big momentum
breaker. Has played, Neshaminy still has moved the ball at times.
Right.
Against the West first defense, and that will be something Coach Carey is going to address.
Have you seen Tingle play for East this year at all?
Yeah, he really is. you know, a tough runner. It reminds me a little bit about like Camburn, you know, the second effort, the balance, leg drive. And like CB West, anybody that saw their game today, they have to go away saying, hey, you can't just key on Tingle because they pass the ball well. They have a bunch of nice receivers. Their fullbacks are pretty big, and then they'll pound them in there. So, you know, they're for real. I mean, they've beaten some good teams.
Absolutely.
And, you know, certainly West is going to have to be ready, but they don't want to look ahead. They'll have a tough Council Rock, you know.
Long pass going to be completed. Oh, and nice offensive play. It's going to be a touchdown. And number 86, a great play by Luke Forchetti. I'll tell you, he came back, adjusted beautifully to that ball, and then broke a few tackles going into the end zone, Coach.
Right, that was just a super play and a great pass. And this, I'll tell you, is not sitting well with the West defense in that, you know, they feel that, hey, they gave up a couple, but they don't like to see any more given up. And, you know, as you say, it's mostly the Neshaminy first team in there.
Now, I know...
But again, you know, you would never want to put your first team back in there and get them injured. So, you know, you have to live with that. You put your young kids in there and they keep their starters in there. You're going to give up a couple scores. But in the long run, you know, the program that's going to benefit is the one that develops those young kids. So
we take a look at the replay here. It's a nice adjustment to the ball, an underthrown ball.
Forchetti, only a sophomore.
You know, it's one of those things that the the defender just fell down here.
Yeah.
They missed a tackle, but Forchetti, nice run after the catch.
Beautiful run after the
It gets
catch.
into the end zone.
Now you got to think Coach Carey's going to be sitting there. It's like you look at the scoreboard, you don't see the 54, you see the 28. And you got to.
That's what coaches tend to do. I mean, you know, the good things that you have going will hopefully continue to take care of themselves. If you're going to continue to win down the road, you have to address what your problems are. Like film night, the guys that go in there and, hey, let's enjoy this victory. But the West tradition is, we're going to tell you, hey, you made a great play here and there, but we're really going to focus on what you did wrong, because if they go out of the films thinking, hey, we got our entire act together, then either the next opponent or somebody down the road is going to be able to take advantage of what they're not improving on. So the emphasis, I'm sure, Monday Night Film will be, let's get that defense in order. And hey, the offense was good, but it wasn't perfect. You know, so when they play the perfect game, we'll have all positive comments. But
now the road doesn't get easier for the Bucks as they go along. They get into the teeth of the schedule coming up in the next few weeks. Is that a fair catch? Oh, and he drops the ball. He holds on to it.
They play Council Rock next week.
What we're having here is an onside kick return with one guy back, and what they're doing is trying to pooch it over the first line and try to hit a dead spot where they can get down in the recovery.
And DiGiacomo went back, made a nice play, made sure the ball was covered.
On that hands team, they call it, you have all the so-called skilled people, the receivers, the D-backs.
And I think we have a new quarterback in there now, or I think it's a new quarterback coming in. Let me see here.
Well, you had DiGiacomo in there, yeah. Joe DiGiacomo, number 13,
is he still? Yeah, there he goes. Joe DiGiacomo is still in a quarterback.
45 zip. Wow. North Penn, 45 zip.
So North Penn stays in the mix for the.
Yeah, North Penn. You know, as I said, the first game was deceiving, and you got a young team that's getting better and better.
James West on the carry. He'll get 2 or 3 yards. Some fresh jerseys in there now for Neshaminy as we're getting late in the game. Score 54 to 27, 28, I beg your pardon.
25. I mean, this is a point where, you know, you always hate to concede, but it gets to a point where you say, hey, it's next to impossible to come back. Let me get my young kids in there.
That's exactly right. And there are a lot of fresh jerseys in there for both teams. Joe DiGiacomo is in the game at quarterback. We mentioned James West is in there. I believe that Jeff Johnson also.
Chris Matty in there. A lot of young guys getting a chance.
Tommy, you having coached youth, still do coach youth football. Here's a kid's first time under the lights as the handoff goes, and a nice carry. And I'm tempted to say Andrew Elsing, but I know better. It's Doug Ortiz, number 20.
Bloodlines, right? We had an Ortiz here.
An Ortiz? That's another brother combination.
I'll tell you, the tradition just carries on so well. But I was saying from Tommy's side, him coaching the youth teams, here's these kids, they step out on that field, and this is a dream they've had since they were 7 years old, 8 years old in Pee Wee football. You know, the programs that are run at the Warrington programs, the various football programs that are the feeder programs to the high schools, the coaches do such a nice job in training these kids.
Oh, there's no doubt. You know, the exposure they get is a big help to, you know, the coaches when they come up to this level. That they've been coached and trained well, and they have the basics down. And the main thing on that level, and I don't want to get into too much philosophy, is but hopefully that everybody plays, because you never know the late bloomers.
Right.
And that's why when we have a sophomore team, no matter how shaky a kid's ability might appear, we have a rule that everybody's going to get in the game.
And look at what Tommy White has done. The roster, we're looking at the roster, you got the Romans there. He's got all his kids who played for him.
Glad he has a few Romans there.
As we had a fumble on the play, the Bucks turned the ball over. We'll see the play right here. He just didn't get a good grip on the ball. That grass is wet. The ball's wet right now.
You know, if Neshaminy gets another one, the score is going to be very deceiving here. But bottom line is West is going to go away with another win, and you know, has given the scouts a lot to be concerned about with how they opened it up.
Long pass again. They're going to try it. This one's going to be intercepted by Johnson. So they tried to go to the well with the same play again, but Johnson was there this time.
And, I know Coach Carey's very pleased with Jeff Johnson. He's worked hard for 3 years and is making a real nice contribution.
I might mention former Roman Jeff Johnson.
Yeah, I named him the Jet because, you know, he told me he had this great speed. You know, the 40-time watch never always proved that, you know, he claimed 4.2, 4.3, but he does have pretty good speed.
And he was one of the archdiocesan speed guys in Catholic League. He's pretty fast.
Here's a kid who overcame some earlier coaching and managed to Tommy, of course, a well-known youth football coach in the area, Tom White, and a legend from CB East, I might add.
He's killing me tonight.
Well, I thought we'd get around the East sooner or later here. I'm not going to touch that one tonight.
But you know what? Seriously, it's nice to see a East-West game that looks like it's going to mean something.
Oh, absolutely. You know, what was it, a couple years ago, we had both teams undefeated.
10-0, right.
On the line. You know, now that they're in the middle of the schedule, East-West, it won't have the same suspense as it would be the last game, but still, both teams have a chance of being undefeated going in there. And if that's the case, it's going to be great for the school district, and I can see it as a very interesting matchup.
Going to be some great games coming up. As running out of the backfield, the back falls down, and that grass is very wet down there. Of course, it's past 10 o'clock right now, and the dew's really formed. That's a tough run.
It's getting tough on the golfers, too. You know,
I knew we'd get into that sooner or later. How's your short game?
All I can say is it's like I used to tell my players at practice, if you practice bad habits, you're not going to get better. So that's the story of my golf game.
We have about 1 minute and 25 to go in this fourth quarter. 54-28, the Bucks with the ball deep in their own territory. And this will keep the undefeated season going. The Bucks next week will take on Council Rock, and we will be there for that as well. Neshaminy goes into the teeth. They'll be at home in Harry Frank Stadium, but they'll be playing North Penn. As a carry by Joe DiGiacomo, he'll take it out over the 15 to the 20-yard line. Nice run, I'll tell you.
Good execution. I'm just telling you, the execution offensively, I'm impressed with the takeoff, the faking, certainly going back to the varsity passing game, but these young kids are executing great also.
Well, you just see them, they keep coming up with the good young players who really know how to play the game. Let's take a look at Joe on the replay here. Nice play action.
Nice fake, and nice fake by the quarterback, and the player that hit it in the line took a couple players with him, so.
And Joe makes a good play, stretches out.
These are the little things that the average fan doesn't see sometime. And they don't appreciate, and as a coach, you really have to give credit come film night, because the guy that gets the 100 yards or passes for 100, you know, they're automatically going to get the headlines. But what makes an offense go will be the little things, the faking, the blocking, downfield blocking that often doesn't get a lot of recognition, but is critical to a good football team.
As former Warrington player, Derek Kinzel carries the ball to the left side. Kinzel,
Another brother act.
There you go, another good when he's a junior, 5'11", 180. Showed some good speed getting around the end on that as they carry the ball out to the 35-yard line. That will do it. We have come to the end of the game. The Bucks win another one, 54-28. Our thanks to Coach Mike Pettin for staying with us through the game. Some great, insightful comments. Tommy White, your comments on the game.
Well, again, it was a sound offensive performance for CB West. I think Neshaminy really showed some character to stay in the game, winning, putting up 28 points against a tough West defense. But I think, as Mike said, you know, really that's what they're going to look at as they enter into some of the tougher games, is those 28 points that got put up. You don't want to make light of the win, because they certainly was a good win for them. But, you know, they wasn't their best performance defensively. But, you know, next week they go up against Council Rock and the passing of Ray Womble. Ray has really been explosive from the quarterback spot there. And obviously 2 weeks from now they're going to go up against East with Falsetti, Tingle, and Bobby Holmes, and you know, then you got to be on your best game by that time.
All the big three teams in the Power 10, North Penn, East, and West, all have playoff kit possibilities standing there right now. North Penn, of course, with the loss to St. Joe's Prep, but realistically, if they can go through the season, if they can beat East, if they can beat West, obviously they're going to go in as one of the top seeds in the East area, the District 1 area. But also East with Tingle and so many different weapons coming at you, going to give West a tough time. West has shown me more offense this year than I've seen in a long, long time. They have so many weapons.
So versatile. Last year you had Pachotti, and it was really power football. Yeah, you'd get DeGiacomo occasionally in Camburn. But this year, with Orioles' improved running game, he's stronger, a little bit more confidence. I think his passing game is more accurate. Just his leadership and his experience from 2 championship years, you bring all that and the versatility that goes around this offense. It's more explosive than I think it was last year.
And I think watching the team, I mentioned that I haven't seen this much versatility since the Corey Potter team. And of course, Coach mentioned the 91 team with Greg Moylan and Sonsini and Cleveland and all that crowd. The weapons on offense are terrific. The only thing that concerns me, honestly, is, and as I said to Mike Pettin, and he talked about the same thing, you look at the right side of the scoreboard, 28 points. So now, granted, 7 of them were scored at what you would call garbage time. You had the kids in there, both teams, and that's what happened. But 21 points, and I think that Coach Carey will also look at that drive on the first series when they just sliced, diced, and thrashed their way through the Buck defense. If not for a great play by James West in the second series, you don't know what would have happened, because the third series, they sliced their way through him again until the fumble occurred.
And they had an interception. Zach Ingram had an interception on one other drive, too, that they had going, too. So that, you know, there were a couple times where they moved the ball and turned it over. The other thing that West does so well, and I don't think other teams really take it seriously, is on special teams. 2 special teams, big plays right off the bat. They get them early scores, up 14-0. We didn't see much of the punt return game, but we know Camburn, DeGiacomo, and that whole crew, they can beat you a couple ways on special teams, and you know, they're just so good. But I think you'll find that Mike has been very good over the years of making adjustments on defense. And defense is kind of a funny thing, because different teams that you go up against, you match up differently. One guy, their tackle's bigger than the guy you play the next week. So you got to learn to move guys around. And I think as Mike gets more used to coaching this team, he'll do that.
But we'll talk about that momentarily. I think we have John Price down on the field, and I believe he's got Mike Oriole, starting quarterback for the Bucks. John, what you got down there?
Tom White, who's very familiar with Mike. Mike was down here wondering what the heck was so important. Tom couldn't let Mike talk now. But at any rate, congratulations, Mike, on your victory. First, I know you want to say hi to Tom.
How you doing, Mr. White?
How you doing, buddy?
At any rate, congratulations on actually number 5 for the season, number 50 for your career. I said earlier in the game that obviously this season, by all accounts, you've really developed and matured into the all-around quarterback. There might have been a couple of pieces missing. As a matter of fact, Coach Pettin was even raving about you up there in the booth. But has the game slowed down for you?
Yeah, it's getting. I'm pretty much used to the whole system. I know the offense a whole lot better than I did when I came in, and pretty much the game is slowing down. And like I'm getting my reads real easy, a lot easier, and just like everything's coming together a lot more.
You tonight, I believe you were about 12 of 18 for 239 yards, unofficially 3 touchdown scores. And this season, you've been completing over 65% of your passes. You might be playing about 2.5 quarters worth of work. Obviously, your numbers could be a lot better than that, but I know that you know that there's more important things than the stats.
Yeah, we just got to really pull together as a team and really explode these next couple of games. This is big. We're coming to the meat of our season, and we just got to really explode and bring it together as a team and stuff.
You look super sharp. You want to give credit to any coaches, Dan Carey or anything like that?
Dan Carey, we worked every day in the off season trying to get accuracy and everything. And I think that's the only reason I'm really doing a lot better than I did last year is Dan Carey and Mike Carey and the whole coaching staff.
One other quick question for you. When a play comes into the huddle, what would be a play where it comes in and your eyes get all wide and you're thinking, oh yeah, I love when we run this. Is there anyone in particular?
I like throwback curl, but we don't run it that much because we want to run it down around the goal line a lot, but we didn't have they're in man, and that's a hard one to run against man. But I really like double comebacks, throwback deep and stuff.
Anything you haven't got a chance to showcase because of the amount of time that you played that maybe you'd like to get a chance to later on, like running or the long ball or anything like that?
Yeah, we've been throwing the ball pretty much in the flats, and I really want to air out the ball, and I want to showcase my ability to run the ball too.
All right, great. Mike Oriole, we'll send it back up to you guys. Congratulations again, Mike, and thanks.
Todd, there's a great kid. There's a kid who loves the camera. Mike Oriole really knows how to talk. Some of these kids will get on there and they sort of hem and haw. But Mike, he was trained well by you, Tom.
I used to say Mike had the eye of the tiger, and he still does. He's a great leader, but he's always looking to learn and get better, and it's just a credit to him how hard he's worked. We talked about his weight, and he's been really conscious of that, being real slim, but he's put on some weight. He's worked hard in the weight room, and here's a kid who's going to have a real bright future after this year as a college football player.
Absolutely. He's going to be he's a terrific kid, terrific football player, and he just has really run that offense beautifully. And right now, John Price has got my man, Mr. Excitement himself, Dave Camburn. John.
Yeah, Dave can't hear that, but Bob gave you the big introduction, Mr. Excitement himself. Bob's a little excited up there right now. But Dave, you had a nice game on D. Tonight probably wasn't a marquee game for a West team on defense, but you had a pretty solid game. Unfortunately, from the secondary, you're doing a lot of tackling. Any idea or insight as to what happened?
Yeah, some of the plays I was man on 34 there, big running back, and I like to get up in the mix every once in a while, not hanging back.
Yeah, you do a nice job of that. Congratulations, obviously, on the win, number 5 for the season. You guys are on a streak of 50. I think you've had at least 3 runs so far this season, or touches, where you've scored from over 70 yards and out. What's going through your head? Do you have a chance to think, or is it just all instinct?
It's kind of instinct. Every time I get it, I don't get the ball much, so I just think every time I get it, break as many tackles as I can and try and go all the way.
Yeah, you certainly know what to do with it when you do get your hands on it. Once again, Dave, thanks a lot, and congratulations. We'll see you next week. Back up to you guys.
Good job, John. As I say, I love Dave Camburn. He's the type of player just electrifies a crowd. He plays such a solid game both sides of the field. And when he gets his hands on the ball, anything can happen, and it's virtually always good. Oh, and right now we have John again. John, the busiest man in show business, back on the field with the coach. Go ahead, John.
Mike Carey, nice enough to join us after the game. Congratulations, Coach. Number 5 for you, 50 in a row. I think that when you look at the score, everyone's going to think, uh-oh, Coach Carey's going to be pretty angry with the outcome, but it's a victory. You must be relieved.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. On one side, I think our offense, did the things that we're capable of doing, and I got a lot of weapons. It's fun coaching the offensive side of the ball. I think without looking at the film, if we don't get better defensively, you know, we won't be where we want to be at the end of the season.
Do you think the short week and the rain affected the preparation this week at all?
No, if anything, I think it made it harder on the Neshaminy because of the different sets, the looks, you know, all the different variables we give you. I thought they gave us an immediate advantage having a short week. You know, I think they're on their side of the ball. You know, they have a great running back, and you know, we didn't stop them at times.
They certainly had a hard time stopping you. As a matter of fact, a special treat for you when you catch the game, when we replay it this weekend. Coach Pettin was in the booth for about 3/4 tonight, and at one point, that's a nice reaction from Coach Carey, but at one point he called you maybe a frustrated quarterback, the way that you were opening things up. He said he'd frustrated you for years. It was nice to see you open it up, he said.
Coach Pettin taught me to play to our strengths, and you know, he's being flattering, but if you look back at our 91 team and some of the teams my brothers played on in 72 and 80, and I know it's a long way back, but when you have a quarterback that can do the things we have and some of the skilled people, you know, you have a wide open offense, and we have here at West. Everybody thinks we're 3 clouds and you know, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but that's not true over the years.
After coming off this victory, what do you think you guys are going to be focused on getting ready for Council Rock for next week?
Well, you know, I haven't looked at a lot of film on them. I've seen them in viewing some other teams. You know, they're probably the running gun West Coast of the East Coast. You know, they throw 30 to 40 times a game. Surely it's going to test our secondary, which I think needs help, and our pass rush, 2 of the areas that are not up to standard, CB West standard. So, but we got 3 days off right now, and we're going to lift on 2 of those days and just enjoy it.
Enjoy the victory, Coach. Thanks again for joining us. Congratulations. Back up to you guys.
Good job, John. John Price, I'm telling you, he was as quick on the football field as he was when in his playing days. He gets Camburn. He gets Oriole, and he gets the coach. He is the hardest working man in show business.
And his shoes are still clean.
Absolutely. So we've come to the end of a great evening. You see the score, Central Bucks West 54 and Neshaminy 28. For all the crew of Comcast to do the great job on the cameras, in the truck, all the people who make this game possible, I want to thank you, along with my partners, John Price, Tom White, the coach, Mike Pettin. I'm Bob Friedman. Thanks a lot for joining us. Final score 54-28, CB West beats Neshaminy. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you at the game.